What's up, guys? Today we're doing something brand new, never done before. I'm super excited about this, but I'm going to be doing what's called the Wheel of Game Reviews. Okay, well, the way this is going to work, I'm going to spin this wheel, and it's going to land on a number. And if it's your number, you get to have your game analyzed live during this live stream. Okay, so if you want to be added to the list, basically I have a spreadsheet, and each number corresponds to a row in the spreadsheet. Okay. And so if you want to be entered into this to have your game analyzed right now or at some point during this live stream, go ahead and click the link in the description. So if you're watching this live stream, there's a link down kind of below, and it should say, what does it say? Wheel of Game Review or Wheel of Game Reviews. Click on that. It'll take you to a Google form. If you fill that out, you will be added. And then when I spin the wheel, you have a chance for me to look at your game. Okay, so basically I'm going to play some games. And then in between, when I need a break, I'm going to spin the wheel a couple of times, and I will adjust this after I play a game. So I can like change this to, whatever, however many people we have. I don't know how many we're going to have, but I'm going to adjust it and then I'll spin it. Okay. So that's what the Wheel of Game Reviews is. That's what's going to be happening, like I said, after I play a rapid game here in just a second. Okay. The other thing that I need to remind you guys of really quickly, Chess Vibes Academy is open right now until Friday. So we close enrollment on Friday. We open it a couple times every year. It's basically a course library. So all of my courses on like openings, like Scandinavian, Ponziani, Crushing D4, King's Indian, Winning with White. There's monthly boot camps that we do right now. The one that's live is the attacking one. So I'm teaching you guys how to attack. We're looking at a lot of model games. We do special live streams in there. You can ask questions. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description as well. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. What's up, Brian? How's it going, man? All right, so we're going to jump into a game. I'm going to try a 30-minute game here, if we can get paired. I think that's long enough, but not too long. And also, this is going to be my last live stream before my next tournament. You guys are going to get some tournament recaps coming up here probably in the next week or two. And I'm really hoping that I do better than I did last time. And we'll see if there's going to be so much drama or not next tournament. Oh, it's your birthday? Nice. Happy birthday. Very cool. All right. Yeah, it's taking a while for the 30-minute game, so I may have to try something else here in just a second. I'm going to see if anybody has filled out the form yet. By the way, the sooner you fill out the form, the higher your chances to get your game reviewed. Anybody can do it. So, yeah, nobody's done it yet. So right now, your chances of having your game reviewed are very high. It's probably going to change as the stream goes on. So if you want to, yeah, there we go. There we go. Somebody's in there now. Awesome. Let me see. Who is it? Yeah, Tim. I see you, Tim. Tim's got his game in there. All right. Cool. All right, so there's no 30-minute games. Oh, never mind. There we go. We've got one. All right. So I'm going to play E4. I'm feeling like E4. And should we try a Smith-Morra Gambit, or should we... You know what? Let me play Knight F3. I'm going to play... I used to play Bishop B5. Well, never mind. Can't do that against this. We cannot do it. Okay. Let's see if we can turn it into a Smith-Morra. So because I don't like playing against this, you can't play Bishop B5 against this line. Let's see if we can play a Smith-Morra. And we do. We do get a Smith-Morra Gambit accepted. Okay. So different move order, but we end up with the same position. Bishop goes on C4 pretty much all the time. Queen goes on E2 pretty much all the time. X-raying the king. We're going to castle, I think. The only reason I'm hesitating is, do I want to put my bishop here to try to get on D6? They don't have to let me, though. They can play. No, actually, you know what I think we should do? I think we should go here. And the idea is we're trying to kind of bait them to play F6. Okay, H6 is something too. But every pawn move creates some weaknesses. This would really weaken these light squares here. This also does a little bit. And I think now I'm going to just drop back. And again, ask black the question. Are you, yeah, they're okay. They're going to go for it. Okay. So let's just consider briefly. We've got time. Let's just consider briefly. Does it make sense to sacrifice? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, we get an annoying pin, but I'm down a piece. I can't believe that that's going to be worth it. No, I don't think we should do it. Let's go back. Okay, so now they put the knight on g6. So we've induced some weaknesses, I think, in black's position. Normally, in the Smith-Morra, you castle kingside. In this particular case, I'm wondering if that makes sense with the pawns already kind of here. Or should we change it up a little bit and castle the other direction? I like the fact that we would immediately have the rook hitting the queen. My king is still a little bit exposed here. This is an open file. This is an open file. And at some point, the rook is going to go there. Now I could tuck my king over. Or do we go here? Yeah, it's not an easy decision, right? There's going to be some... I mean, if black wants to, they can attack us on both sides of the board here. So, what do I feel more comfortable with? I think I'm going to castle queenside. I don't know. I just feel like getting the rook here right away. Now we're in position to attack. We have all the pieces ready to go. Like almost every piece except this rook. So I think we're definitely in a position to attack now. Queen a5. Okay. What's the threat? Well, nothing immediate. Eventually, they're going to be attacking maybe here after like the bishop comes out somewhere. But right at this moment, everything's defended. I can plant the bishop on d6. They can take. We can double up rooks. That looks pretty good. But do I have better? King b1 is always like one of those really nice to play moves just to get the king out of the file, right? Which we talked about. Also, it defends the pawn on a2, which at some point is probably going to be useful. So I'm thinking king b1, just a nice kind of prophylactic move. What else can we play? I mean, knight d5, it just seems... Actually, knight d5 is not totally crazy. Knight d5 is not totally crazy because we have this strong threat on c7. And if they take, we have check. We're hitting the knight. So you try to save the knight, but then we have d6. Yeah, that's pretty good. But am I going to regret not having my king on b1? I mean, the other thing is like, sometimes you don't always have time to wait. So should I be taking advantage of this while I have the opportunity? There's also knight f6 check, which could be a very annoying move. I think we should do it, actually. I do think we should do it. Yeah, now that I look at it a little bit longer. Okay, so here we go, knight to d5. Let's launch the attack. I mean, we've got lots of pieces. This could be very dangerous for black very fast, I think, if they're not careful. And in the spirit of this month's boot camp, attacking, right? I'm going to be aggressive here. So let's do it. Yeah, if you're just joining late, we're going to be spinning the wheel a little bit later. Okay, looks like this. There's a link in the description. You can fill out the Google form, and I will spin the wheel. Each number corresponds to a row in the spreadsheet. If your row gets selected, I'll analyze your game. Just follow the instructions in the Google form, right? Tell me which move number and make sure you put your username and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be doing that after this game is over. Okay, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. So, of course, we want to open up the queen and hit the king. Okay. So the nice thing about what's just happened, guys, is we actually are going to get our piece back if we want it right away. So I didn't even lose a piece in that exchange. And I stopped them from castling. So this is already starting to look fantastic. Not to mention, when we take here, we're going to be opening up the rook. I can't believe there are any better moves than that, but we should at least consider pushing the pawn because that does kind of trap the king in a way. But when I have a knight just sitting there to be captured, I have a hard time not taking that. So I'm really leaning towards this. I suppose this is an option, but also the fact that we open up the rook. Now we've got to do this, guys. Yeah, we have to do this. Okay. So our king is a little bit unsafe, but compared to blacks, I think we're in much better shape. Now, how do we get to the king? Well, we already have a lot of pieces. One of the principles that I teach in the attacking boot camp in Chess Vibes Academy is if you don't see an immediate breakthrough, bring more pieces, which I could very easily do in this case. I could bring another piece to the attack, rook e1. So that's a move that I'm going to keep in the back of my mind. However, I'm going to start by looking for some more forcing options here first. So let's just look at the position carefully. This is undefended. There is a queen sitting over here, but primarily it's the king. So we've got a queen, we've got a rook, we have the bishop. I mean, the king is trapped if we could check it somehow. So a move like knight e5 threatening checkmate is an option, right? Now, I don't know how good that is because they would just take us. We could take back, hits the rook. Let's say they save the rook, then we go check. Oh, it's not checkmate. They can escape. That's not bad, actually. The other way to do it would be knight to d4, which threatens checkmate here. Let's say they play, what, bishop b7? Oh, I just also noticed there's a free pawn. Okay, we could take a free pawn. Actually, it attacks the knight. That might be worth considering. So yeah, knight to d4, knight to e5, take the free pawn, hit the knight. If I do take the pawn, let's just think about this for a second. What is black most likely to do? They're going to move their knight. I'm guessing here. I'd probably have to take it. I don't have to, but I probably would take it. Actually, hold on. There's going to be a check. They go here, then we take. Looks very, very good for us. So bishop f7 seems like a strong move. So it's a question of, is that the best option? Or do I need more pieces, right? This is also good. Let's say, knight f4, we can check. Huh. This is good just because it puts pressure on the knight. It's going to force it here. That's going to just be a trade, though, I think. Check. They go there. I mean, we do have this sacrifice. They take. We can take a rook. I'm not sure if that's good enough. Yeah. All right. I mean, bring the other piece or take the pawn. Well, tough decision. There's also going to be d5, which I don't think I'm super concerned with, but maybe I should be. So maybe I should take this while I have the opportunity. Okay, let's just check the checks. We just move. Not a big deal. This is the most likely move. We're going to just take it, I think, and then we're going to have the check and keep attacking. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't see much there for black. I think that's a good decision. All right, let's do it. Take the pawn. All right, let me just do a quick check over here. Yeah, we have 10 people on the wheel so far. All right, so if you want to join that, now's the time before this game ends. For some reason, I'm feeling like we're about to get a checkmate or something really soon here. Okay. This guy's position is looking worse and worse. Okay, so let's see. Bishop d6, very nice looking move. Why? Why is this such a nice looking move? Because it blockades this pawn. Why is that such a nice thing? Because the bishop is blocked by the pawn. Why is that? Because the rook is blocked by the bishop. All of black's pieces are blocked by this pawn. So if we blockade that, what are they going to do? Move here? I mean, the bishop is still stuck. The rook is still stuck. So bishop d6, very good move. Rook d6, also nice because it clears the path for the other rook if we want to do that. I don't know. Knight coming somewhere could also be, I mean, this is checkmate, guys. This is literally checkmate. Wow. So that's a nice move as well. So we have got knight to d4. We've got rook to e1. We've got rook or bishop to d6. I'm glad I have 21 minutes because I'm going to need some time to figure out which move here. They're all really, really good. Okay. They're all really, really good. There's even bishop e5, which, okay, then they can go here. Maybe that's not the best. All right, so bishop d6 I like. Rook d6 I like. Knight to d4. I guess let's start with the most forcing. This literally threatens checkmate. Okay, this is checkmate, guys. So how does black deal? If they push the pawn, we take here. They take with the knight. We win the queen. That's got to be winning. Let's see. How else do you stop this? Check. Doesn't do anything. I just move. Let's say they play bishop b7. We still go there. They run. Let's see. Do we have a win in that position? We could sack the rook. They take it. We could bring the other rook with check. Maybe that's winning. It's costing me a lot of pieces, though. I like bishop d6 also because the knight can't move because this is checkmate. And if the knight can't move, the bishop can't move either because that's going to be also checkmate. So bishop d6 has got to probably be the best move. It also stops the only check that black has. Let's say they play some random move like this attacking me. I don't even think we care. Move the bishop somewhere. Yeah, let's go bishop d6, I think. I mean, knight d4 is also very good, I think, but I just can't get past how good bishop d6 looks. So let's go bishop d6. Just doing a blunder check. Yeah, bishop d6. All right. Yeah, there's a link to a Google form in the description for those of you guys asking about the wheel. Okay, queen f5. Not a move I considered. I don't think that's a huge deal, though. It's attacking my bishop, but apart from that, probably not an issue. We can play knight e5. Now, why would I want to play knight e5? Well, it defends my bishop. That's one thing. And it also threatens checkmate. So takes, checkmate. Okay, you guys see that? So this is a very powerful move. Is that the best move? We can also just move the bishop back, which is fine. Although I really do like how it's controlling this square. So I think I'm going to lean towards knight e5 threat and checkmate. Now let's say they stop me with bishop b7. What am I going to do? Maybe just move the bishop back then and threaten the fork. So yeah, I think knight e5 is good. They also have a random check, but we just move. Okay, who cares? It doesn't do much. Yeah, as far as I can tell, this is kind of following the principle of if you don't have an immediate breakthrough, bring more pieces, right? There's also some idea actually of going here. We should keep an eye on that. I don't think it works because we need the bishop to stop the checkmate, but let's keep an eye on that. So for now, let's play this. Okay. Yeah, we've got 14 people on the wheel right now, guys. So still pretty good chances that you'll get your game reviewed if you want to hop on. All right. Also, don't forget Chess Vibes Academy closes on Friday. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. We are doing an attacking bootcamp right now, which fits nicely with this game that we're playing. So I think we're going to have a winning combination really soon here. That's what it's looking like. And you can kind of just tell. I mean, look at how all of our pieces are like around the king. And look at how black's pieces are. And we didn't even have to sack a piece for this because we got the knight back, right? So you know you're in good shape when that happens. It would be absolutely amazing if black is somehow able to defend this position. So, okay, rook h7. All right, so they're attacking the bishop again. I don't think that they stopped their checkmate. So let's start with that. Check. King is trapped, right? So there's only two moves we have to consider, 1 and 2. If the knight takes, this is checkmate. That's easy enough. So the only move to consider is if the pawn takes. For some reason, I thought that was going to lead to a checkmate. Let me just think about this. We can take the knight with the double check. They have to play king to c7. We then could play what? Bishop check forces the king to either go here or here. Okay, so maybe it's not actually checkmate unless there's a different way we can do it. We can also take here first. If the bishop takes, we can take with check, but then the king's going to run. It's one of the principles I talk about in the boot camp. You don't want the king to run when you're trying to checkmate it. So I think we should start here. Yeah, maybe it's not actually an immediate checkmate, but it's pretty close. The other thing that I could probably do, which might be even better now that I'm looking at it, is queen e. Oh, okay. I was thinking this, but they're going to take, check, they're going to run. We don't have a checkmate, do we? Okay, so we probably should go for it while we have it. Oh, the other line was this. If the bishop takes, we take with check, and we just win a bunch of pieces. That's also really good. Takes, takes. Oh, and there's one more thing too. I don't have to take this. I can also just bring the bishop back on this diagonal with a check. Then the king is actually totally trapped. So then they would have to block. So if you have to block, that means what? Knight d5 or bishop d7. And it really feels like this should be the moment when the game is about to end. Let's see if I missed anything. Let me see if there's any candidate moves I did not consider. Any moves at all? Oh, you know what? You know what, guys? I just noticed something. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, wait, maybe it does work. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Maybe it doesn't work. I was going to say we could play g4. The queen is almost trapped. If we force it on one of these dark squares, then when we do this check business, we'll be able to take the queen. The only problem is this move comes with a check. That is the only problem. And then black gets a chance to do something. So unfortunately, I don't think that works. Now I could take first, then play g4. But then the queen has options, I think. Yeah, maybe not quite. Okay, we were close though. All right. So I'm probably going to go with this line. I mean, this looks really, really good. Check. They go there. It's too bad I don't see an immediate checkmate. I could take this bishop too, but then they're going to take my bishop. And I don't want to just trade. I don't want to just trade everything. Our position is so good. As long as we don't just trade everything, we're going to win. So I'm almost wondering, maybe I just play a calm and relaxed move like bishop h5, you know? Just get away from the attack, give myself some more timing. But black has like no moves, to be honest with you guys. You basically have like no moves. Because if this bishop was moved back, then I could threaten this as well. Let me check this one more time because this is a very forcing line. Let me check this one more time. Check. King takes. Yeah, it's not it. It's not it. Check. No, I don't see it. Okay. I guess I'm going to go for this, guys. I mean, it feels like I'm missing something even better. I don't know what it is, though. All right. We're going to move forward. I don't want to lose on time, so let me make a decision here. Yeah, he does take with the pawn. And I'm thinking we're going to take the knight. I don't like that the king escapes. So let me just check one more time. We could go. Okay, here's an idea. Here's an idea, guys. We could go here with it, which is check. If they block, we actually have check. Check. I think that would lead to a mate somehow. It feels like it must be a mate. Check, takes, check. Why can I not see a checkmate? This is amazing. Okay. If we go check here, hold on. This is an interesting idea. If the knight moves, it's checkmate. Okay. Okay. So the knight can't move. So how do you actually block the check? The king can't move. So the only move would be bishop d7, right? Let's just say my bishop's on g3. Okay, bishop's on g3. Bishop to d7. We take. If the queen takes, we at least can win the queen, which is good enough for me. If the king takes, check. They have to go here. We win the queen. Okay. Okay, that might just be what we need. Now, is that better than taking here is the other question. Check. King runs. I think it is, actually. So let's just check it. We have time. Let's check one more time. We're going to go here. We're going to put the king in check. The king can't move. Okay, you can't go there, you can't go there, you can't go there. King cannot move, which means you have to block. You don't want to lose a queen. You don't want to go with your knight because checkmate. So you have to play bishop d7. Everybody tracking with me? Oh, we also have this nice little move I just noticed, bishop e6. Although there might be a check here that saves black. Okay, so let's say we take. They take with the king. If you take with the queen, rook comes over, the knight blocks. Oh, the knight can block. Ooh, uh-huh. So check here, the queen takes and the knight blocks. We don't have checkmate anymore. That is a sneaky one. Okay, see, I almost missed that. So check bishop d7. What about bishop e6? What's the point? Well, we're attacking the queen and threatening to take this. The queen has to move, but there is a check. There's a check right there. There is a check right there. So bishop's here. They put me in check. I move. They're still having the problem with this. Let's say they play knight d5. This is amazing, guys. This is actually amazing. Okay, 3, 4, 5. We are up a pawn, so we could take it to an endgame. I don't want an endgame, but it's a possibility. I could always default back to this line. Check. The issue is both of my bishops, right, are under attack. That's the issue. So I think we have to make a trade. But then they're going to take here. They actually do have a little bit of pressure. My bishop has to move. We go check. They go over. That's got to be good for me. That's got to be better. That's got to be the best for me. All right. We're going to do this line. It's amazing that I can't find something better. It's probably that I'm just missing it. But as long as we win the game, that's all that matters, right? Just check. Make sure I'm not missing some super obvious move here. Okay. Because when the dust settles here, we're still going to have a really nice attack on their king. Now, I have to be a little careful still. Because my king is not exactly totally safe. Okay. Yeah, so this is the position I was thinking is going to be good for us. So option number 1, queen here with the idea of sneaking over this way. Option number 2, we go here, which actually gives me multiple ways to get over there. And defends the c5 square. I like this one better. Unfortunately, they have queen b5, which is annoying. Queen b5. Okay, but this actually threatens. They're going to play bishop e6 if I go there, though. That's what they want to do. Bishop e6. The rook's going to come into the game. Check. Queen goes there. I mean, I don't want to play an endgame, an opposite color bishop ending. No, 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 no. Absolutely do not want that, guys. This is incredible. I can play rook e1, stops bishop e6, just gets the other piece into the game. It comes at the cost of a pawn. Takes, check. B4, threatening check. They're going to run. I mean, I don't know if that's good enough. I'm like amazed that I have not been able to find something better. I'm actually amazed. What about rook b3? Coming over with the rook. Because then queen b5 is not a move. Aha, maybe that's the move, guys. Rook b3. There's bishop e6, though. So maybe we go here. The idea of coming, they can always stop that with like a5. Hmm. I do like rook d3. That's an interesting move. Bishop e6. We can attack that. If they play there, we can actually triple up on it. Okay, rook d3. I'm starting to really like rook d3 because this is a big deal. So you have to play bishop e6, I think. So rook d3, bishop e6. What do we play? Is it rook e1? Might just be rook e1. Let's say they move the bishop somewhere. Bishop's actually strong on d5. Wow. What if I attack it this way? Then I can play rook here. Trying to get to that king somehow, guys. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm going to have to make a decision here in just a second. I'm going to go with rook d3, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go this way. Okay, he does play bishop e6. And now I think we're going to go here with a very annoying threat on the bishop. The idea to come down there next. Just trying to be careful here. As far as I can tell, this looks pretty good. They're clearly not concerned about it. I'm going to go check. King b6. What? How is this guy surviving? Wait a second here, guys. Check. If they go here, we can win the queen. If they go back, we can go check, force them to go back. There's also queen e3 check, but I'm not sure what I'm doing after c5. There's b4, but I need a check probably. What is going on? This is crazy. I'm going to go here. This feels like it should be the right move. I think he has to go back because if you come up, I think it's sorry. If you come up, I think it's over, right? At least we have the queen, but we might even have a checkmate there. Okay, so they do go back. So what if I go check? This is amazing. This is actually amazing. Maybe I'm just that bad. Okay, come on, Nelson. You got to figure this out. How about here? What is my follow-up, though? How do I win this? I'm not sure, guys. I got to make some moves, though. I'm going to lose on time. I gotta make some moves here, but this is actually amazing that somehow this king is surviving. I guess he's going to go here. Yeah. Okay. So the only way to keep the attack going that I can see is this move. So let's play that by process of elimination. I do have to be careful. I can go back. I don't really want to draw, but I think I'll be losing if I don't take a draw. If I take that, I don't know if I'm surviving this. I don't think I'm surviving. That's this is unbelievable. This is actually unbelievable. I don't see anything better than a draw, guys. Can you believe that? Can you actually believe that? We got to see what Stockfish says. There had to have been like 15 wins. There had to have been. I can't believe that there was not a bunch of wins. I mean, that's just amazing. That's really amazing. Let's see. How many wins did we miss? How many do you think? I don't feel like I played bad chess. I was playing like principled moves. Like, let's see. Yeah, we definitely were winning. I did miss a bunch of wins. Man. Wow. Okay. And now at the end, it was a draw. So at the end, I made the right decision. But along the way, somehow, we really messed up. We really messed up. Let's see. I mean, this moment right here. Yeah, we had to be totally winning. Let's turn on the analysis bar. We had to be totally winning somewhere right after this. Yep. Look at that. It's going up. It's going up even more. Okay, I went a little wrong there. Knight to d4, which I did talk about, was the best move, threatening this. And if they played bishop b7, whoa, we go knight e6 check. And then rook takes d7 check. Wow. Wow. Yeah, in my mind, I didn't get past going here. I just thought, you know, why? Why do that? So that's one thing. Okay, but even then, still totally winning. And literally every move is winning. Yeah, knight e5 is winning. Knight d4 is winning. Bishop d6 is winning. Knight e5 was the best move. Remember, I literally said it, guys. I said, what if I just do a calm move? That's the move. Bishop h5 is the best move. Bishop h5 was the move. Just keep the position. There's no way that black is going to be able to even move a piece if I just go here. Yeah. This actually lets him out. This actually lets him out. Unbelievable. Bishop takes a2 is the best move. Wow. I mean, I can't believe this, guys. I actually cannot believe it. Well, we didn't lose, so there's that. But that's pretty sad to not be able to convert that. Yeah, and I even said it, and I should have trusted my instincts, right? Right at this moment, I was like, I think I said something like, I should probably just play a quiet move. That's exactly the move. Just deal with the threat. Keep the pressure. You still have the checkmate idea. I mean, black can't move anything. They can hardly move any pieces, right? All right, well, that's chess for you. Okay, it's time, guys. It is time for the wheel of game reviews. There are 26 people. 26 people. That's pretty funny. I had it at 25. I had it read at 25. Right, we're going to go 26. We've got 26 numbers on the wheel. Whoever's number gets selected, I'm going to be analyzing your game. So get ready. Here we go. Number 10. The winner is number 10. All right. Let me check over here. I am going to see who is number 10. Okie dokie, guys. Number 10. Aiden. Aiden is the winner. Let me highlight this so that I don't redo you. Okay. So let's see what the game is and see what the question is. All right, guys. All right, we have it here. I'm going to do this. Aiden's, you're rated 2,500? Okay. I kind of was meaning this for more beginner intermediate level, but let me see what the question is. How can I be? I'll try to help you. I don't know that I'm going to be able to help you, but let's take a look. How can I be better in rook endings like this? Move 49. Okay, so you have a question about the end game. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to promise I'm going to be able to help you, but we'll try. All right. So Aiden is rated 2,500. So we're going to go, and this is a blitz game. Yeah, so we're going to skip the opening. Question is about the end game. Okay. Oh, okay. So how do you win this? Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Let me think for a second. Yeah, so the problem is that your king is cut off, right? I mean, if you try to run, what's going to happen? He takes your pawn. That doesn't really accomplish anything, right? Maybe it does, actually, because then you can play here in the pawn. Actually, yeah, maybe. So I don't know if you tried this. Let me look at the game. What did you try? Okay, so the first thing that I would say is, honestly, I don't know that I would do this because right now, like, oh, let's say you, and I don't know if this is the answer. I'm just thinking out loud. If I go here and he takes the pawn, I feel like I might be able to do something like this. And the point is, if the rook comes back, you're going to go here. Now you have this little, threat of check and you get the queen, right? So that's probably what I would try to set up, something like that. And I think as soon as you push that, you might lose that opportunity. Let's see what the engine says. Let's see what the engine says in this position. Yeah, it does say king e8, but it also says it's a draw. So I'm not sure why you said you knew it was a winning. It looks like the engine thinks it's a draw. Unless the engine doesn't know something. I'm thinking I'm just going to run here and force the rook to do something. Stockfish is saying the king goes back. And what's going to happen here? Rook a5. Can I not just chase the rook now? Stockfish says rook b5 check. I don't know. Let's say I go here. What if I do this? He's gonna check from the side now. Wow, that's really interesting, isn't it? And then if you try to chase him, he's gonna come behind at some point, probably. Rook g3. Yeah, I mean the engine is telling me it's a draw. So oh, look at move 49. Okay, and move 49. Let's keep going. Sorry. Move 49. Here you knew it was winning. The winning move is rook e1. I'm honestly... So it's a win because there's a checkmate threat? Hold on. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So White's drawing method was a stalemate trap? Oh my goodness. What is happening in this game? That's what White needed to play? Or check your king? But as soon as they do this, now you have a checkmate threat. What's really interesting about this position is, and the only reason I know this is because the engine is telling me, but rook e1 is the only winning move? So it has something to do with being able to block the checks. Otherwise, all of these moves would be winning too, you would think, right? So if he checks you, yeah, you can block, which is a key move. Because now you're threatening this, checkmate, and you're threatening to get a queen. Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, you got to just study a bunch of endgame books with rook endings in them, I guess, and figure out all these little ideas. Rook endings are mostly lots of little tricks and sort of like tiny little ideas, but they're all over the place, right? That's why they're so complicated, because you never know which ideas you're going to need in your game. So you have to kind of just learn a bunch of them. And then hopefully you're able to find the right ideas in the games, right? And that's very difficult in blitz games too, right? Because you really need to like think through some of these things. Yeah, apparently rookie one. I mean, I don't know. That's a very strange position. I wouldn't have immediately thought of that. Maybe I would have, thought of this checkmate idea, but I guess to be able to block. Let me actually see. If you go here, why does it not win? Yeah, because it's Because the check. It's because the check. And now you can take your pawn. You don't have checkmate. It's a draw. Wow. All right. Yeah. Interesting game. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to spin the wheel again, guys. Okay. We're going to spin the wheel again. And if we get number 10 again, I'll just spin it again. All right. Number 7 is the winner. Let's see who's number 7. 10, 9, 8, 7. Peyton. Peyton K. Peyton K, you are up next, my friend. All right, let me get the game. Uh-huh. All right, we're going to pull this one over. What do we have? He's playing with the white pieces. Let me see what the question is. 1 second. Let me highlight this one so we don't duplicate it again. Okay. Hold on, I got to wrap the text. 1 second, guys. We got to wrap the text here. Okay. How could I have converted to a win after move 27? Maybe move 23. Okay, so move 23, move 27. All right, let's talk about it. So, Peyton is playing with the white pieces. Here we go. Okay, he's playing a King's Indian setup. All right. Black is attacking. By the way, one thing, just to keep in mind, when you're getting attacked over here, if you move the knight away, so anywhere, like let's say just 91, and they try to attack you, you can always have the option of pushing by and sometimes locking up the position, which can be very nice. And so if somebody's pushing, both pawns at you and you have this setup, it's kind of like if they push this one, you push by. If they push this one, you push by. That can be very useful. Now, you would have to evaluate, can they checkmate you if they sacrifice the bishop here? You have to be a little careful, like if the knight and the rook somehow can pair. I don't know. I don't think they can, but you would have to check that. But you don't have that option when your knight is on f3, right? Because you have to deal with the knight. So they're guaranteed to open up a file, which usually is what you don't want to allow. So just moving the knight away can be a very annoying thing for the person who's trying to attack you. Okay? What's up, Steven? So, yeah, guys, if you want to get on the wheel, there's a link in the description. There's a link in the description. Fill out the form, and then next time we spin it, you have a chance. Okay, so that's the first thing I would say. Let's keep going, because we got to get to the question here. Yeah, so you're getting attacked now. Bishop f3 is probably fine. Okay. Ooh. Did you say something about saving your queen on move 23? Is your queen in danger? Are you about to lose your queen? Ah, I see. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the first thing that I would say is this is not like losing a queen. This is not like blundering a queen. This is like your opponent is basically trading 2 rooks and a bishop for a queen, a bishop, and a pawn. So it's kind of just a trade. And in general, 2 rooks is equal to a queen. Like, you're fine. That's not a bad trade for you. It's just a different dynamic. You might not be used to playing that way, but it's actually not bad for you. So I wouldn't stress too much about this. I mean, if you really wanted to save it, you would have to probably give up the pawn, which I don't know that would be better, right? Like king h1 maybe, but I don't think I would like to play this position either. So I think what you did is actually probably fine. Let's see what the engine says really quickly here. Yeah, it says queen f3 is the move. So I think you did the right thing. And yeah, do they have this tactic? Yes. And can you stop it? No, but that's okay. You get 2 rooks for the queen. Don't stress about that. That's totally fine. Yeah. Okay, so this was the position, right? Move 27, I think. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Okay, in general, when you're playing against a queen like this, you want to make sure that all of your pieces, or at least as many pieces as possible, are defending each other, right? because if the rooks are defending each other and the rooks are defending the knight, the queen's not going to be able to really do anything. That's the first thing. The other thing is when you're playing against a queen like this, you have to be really careful about weaknesses around your king, because that is the strength of the queen, right? The queen is very good at checkmating kings. And so the first priority in this position to me is like, make sure I don't get checkmated here, right? That could happen very easily. You play some random move. I don't know what it is. He pushes this pawn. You take it. Oh, next thing you know, like you're about to get checkmated, right? And even if you don't get checkmated, you don't want to play this position. You're going to lose all your pieces and you're in trouble, right? So that's kind of like priority number one for me is going to be like, can I get rid of this pawn or at least get my king somehow to safety? So yeah, Stockfish is saying king h1. It probably wants to put the rook here, I'm guessing. Let's just see. Now it says you can just take on f4. But basically, king priority is number one. And then you have to figure out what kind of either fortress or what kind of setup you're going to go for with your pieces that's going to keep everything defended. So I'm thinking like, you know, something like rooks like this, and I'm making bad moves for black on purpose, but, you know, some sort of setup like this might be what I would go for, where I can make sure that my pawns stay defended, these key squares are controlled, and I'm able to, you know, take here and put pressure on black's position, something like that maybe. Or another one might be, you know, putting the rook on the open file here, for example. Again, I'm going to make some random moves for black. Let's say they save their knight. Something like this. You know, I don't know, I probably would trade or push this pawn. Let's just say maybe a setup like this. Again, I'm trying to keep all of my most valuable pieces protected, while at the same time create threats if possible, right? That's what you want to go for in these pieces against queen type of endgames, okay? But they're pretty tricky, and so it's not an easy question to answer, right? Let me see what you did in the game. Played rook here. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable move to me. You do have to watch out for the discover check, which is, I guess, what they played. Yeah, okay. So that's the first thing. You just like watch out for these X-ray attacks and deal with that first, and then I think you were on the right track. Yeah, king f1 I don't like. The reason I don't like this move is because this is the only open file on the board right now, and rooks need open files to operate. Also, tucking the king in the corner when you have pieces that can shield it is actually a really great way to keep it safe. When you go to f1, now all of a sudden you have to defend from this way, 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 right? It's a lot harder, actually. And so I would have preferred my king to be there and then, you know, make use of this G file, because your rook then can invade here. It can, you know, help this rook if you need to put more pressure. Like, so I don't like king f1 there. Yeah, and now it gets very difficult. Now, you know, now your king is not safe. The knight is kind of a monster, and yeah, it's going to be very tough in this position. Yeah. Yeah, now the queen is definitely going to be winning here. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that helped. Good question. Very interesting endgame there. So yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more spin, and then I'll play a game myself. All right, guys. So let's get the wheel up again. And one more spin, and I'll update the count if you've added recently onto the wheel. I'll update that after this last spin. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Number 5. Number 5 is going to be Philip. Philip. Okay, Philip didn't really ask a question. They just said move 23. So let's see what's happening on move 23 with Philip's game. Right. And Philip is, let me see, what color is Philip? Philip is black. Okay. Move 23. Let's take a look. Move 23. Oh, sorry. Haha, you guys can't see it. Just kidding. There we go. Okay. Put the eval bar on in this one. All right, he's playing with black. Move, what did I say? I already forgot. Sorry. Sorry, guys. 23. Okay. Move 23. Let's go. All right, so opening looks pretty normal. Everybody's developing their pieces like you should be doing. Jumps the knight in. I don't mind it. H5. Yeah, C6 is good. That's good. D5, I like this. You know, somebody's attacking you on the flank. You're striking at the center. That's a very principled way to play, and I think it's very good. Okay, I think here, I'm not going to double my pawns like that, and also give myself kind of a bad bishop. I would have probably taken with the bishop because, first of all, you're opening up this, which looks really nice. You might be able to throw a queen or a rook there at some point. You keep your pawns looking nice and pretty. And if this trade, happens, whatever, this is fine. And yeah, I think I would take him with the bishop. Bishop or knight, probably. The engine says that the pawn is fine, but from a practical standpoint, I think this is harder to play for you. Okay. Bishop b3. Yeah, and one move that the engine keeps saying, and I was going to say it earlier, is h6. So on one hand, you have to be careful moving pawns in front of your king because you actually do create more weaknesses. On the other hand, sometimes it's very helpful if it prevents particular weaknesses in your position. And in this case, if white were to ever play h6, you kind of have a problem because you don't want to take this, right, and allow this, and this is open. That looks really bad. You don't really want to let them take you and also just completely open up your king. So you're probably going to be, play g6. But the problem is you don't have a dark square bishop. And now there's kind of this like permanent checkmate threat that the queen could almost kind of easily potentially get to. Maybe like this. Maybe this knight moves and the queen's going to come in this way. So this might be an exception to the rule where I'm like, I think I might actually play h6 here. I understand that like in some cases, g4, g5 could be annoying. But in this case, I'm like, I really don't want to deal with this g7 checkmate. That's something that you kind of like. Maybe if I had my bishop sitting on f8 or my bishop was on e7 or d6, I wouldn't worry so much about that. I'm like, let him push. And if I go back, I have my bishop that can cover this, no problem. But in this case, I think h6 would be a move I would have considered. Okay. Oh, that's not what happened in the game. All right, the game they castled. b5. Okay, so let me get to the moment where you had your question, which was move 23. Yeah, they do play h6. You attack. I like that. Okay, don't mind it. They take, you take. All right, they played. This is the moment, I guess. Okay, let me see what you played. You played queen c5. Yeah. So wow, this is a very interesting position. So obviously, white's attacking you with a very serious threat. You need to figure out what is the most powerful threat that I can make on white's king, because otherwise I'm just going to lose a piece and then probably get checkmated myself, right? So when you're thinking about that, always start with like the forcing move. So this is like the first move that I would definitely calculate. What happens if I sacrifice the rook? Check. They take. I just completely go on the offensive. Bring the other rook over with check. They don't have a lot of options, but it looks like they can play king b1. And then I need to know, do I have a follow-up? I don't see any checks. I do see the move a3. So I'm going to calculate a3 there. So my rook is here. Their king is on b1 now. And I play a3 threatening checkmate. Okay, that's pretty good. What if they defend? Huh. Well, that's defended. I can't invade. I don't really see a solution. They're going to be taking here. Probably doesn't work. But this is definitely the move you want to start with because it's the most forcing. Okay, because it might have just led to a checkmate. You don't know unless you look at it. I don't see anything. And yeah, Stockfish says there's not anything there. But we have to check. Probably the next thing that I would look at might be the move a3. Because, for example, if white were to just continue over here and ignore me, it looks to me like, well, I didn't even notice this. Stockfish says if you take here first, it's checkmate right away. But I was also going to say you could just take here and then take here. And this looks very, very good. Like, surely this must somehow, lead to, if they take me, it's checkmate. So they have to keep going over here. And at the bare minimum, we take back here. But that looks very good, right? And if you were paying attention, you would have noticed the mate in 2. Okay. So I think a3 is probably the next move that I would look at. Now, I don't know if you consider this move or not, but it's the forcing moves where white really has to react that you want to start with. Now, you'd have to calculate what's going to happen if they push by, but that just looks like it opens it up. Maybe that now we check the sacrifice. Maybe now we check queen here with the idea of coming in here. But basically what you have to identify is, can I make a threat over here on the king side that's more powerful than losing a knight? And I think the answer is yes. Now, it's not easy, but I think that's where I would start. So you're moving the game, queen c5. You're basically doing the same thing, which is good. The only thing that when I look at this, I think that's easy for them to defend. That's what comes to my mind. That's easy. That's just like, oh, well, I'll just defend that. No problem. So I guess the thing is, what's the most annoying threat that's not easy to defend, right? That is the key. If you can find a threat that is not easy to defend, that is when you're going to win the game because that's when your opponent's going to be like, I don't know what to play, right? So that's why, and in the engine agrees, A3 is the best move because what are they going to do, right? They don't have an easy way to defend that. Taking does not look like a great solution. And this tactic keeps popping up, by the way. Sacrificing the rook now, then you go check, then the rook comes over, and now you're going to have a checkmate. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can take and checkmate. But yeah, interesting position. And that's the problem. And that's the difference between your move and A3, right? This move is just too easy to defend. You have to find a stronger threat that's not so easy to defend. So yeah, and then you were forced to kind of go on the defensive, which obviously is not what you want. And now the game was probably pretty tough from here. Looks like maybe you ended up winning anyway. Let's see. Yeah, okay, you still got a nice position. Well, you did have a nice position. Oh, okay, okay. All right, well, good game, and I hope that kind of helped, okay? Did that make sense? Okay, all right, guys. So I did 3. I'm going to play a quick game myself, and then we'll spin the wheel again, okay? All right, thank you guys for submitting those. If you want to get on the list, and next time I spin the wheel, I'll add the numbers. It's in the description, okay? All right, I'm going to play a quick game now. I think I will play a 10-minute game just so I have some more time to do the game reviews. By the way, Chess Vibes Academy is open right now, but enrollment closes on Friday, so make sure you check it out if you haven't. Okay, we are playing a tough opponent. A tough opponent. Let's play E4. And this is a 10-minute game. So I'm going to play a Vienna. I'm just feeling like playing a Vienna for some reason. I don't know why. We might see a Frankenstein Dracula if our opponent's willing to go into it, which is a very interesting opening. No, they're not. That's too bad. Well, let's just play D3. Okay, I believe we should pin this knight. Oh, hold on a second. Am I about to get... Oh, I almost fell for a little trap, guys. Check. I mean, I could play King F1, which is interesting. They have C6. I have some interesting ideas going through my mind right now, guys. Some really interesting ideas. Might be a little crazy, though. Might be just a little bit crazy what I'm thinking of doing. No, it's definitely crazy. All right. I'm going to go knight h3. They're going to play d6, I'm pretty sure. And I need to think about this for another minute. I'm trying to set up... What am I trying to set up? I really want to play bishop g5. Put the pressure here. Maybe bring out my queen, put more pressure there. Maybe play knight d5, put more pressure there. And if they go for this, I'm going to try to use this to attack them. Oh, they play c6. Interesting. So they are stopping knight d5 and threatening d5. But if I play bishop g5, they don't have well, do they have d5? That's... We take, they take, I take, they take. I move my king. What is going on? Who knows? Let's go for it. It looks interesting enough to me. It looks interesting enough to me. I'm expecting bishop h3 and bishop f2. This is what I'm expecting. Because it looks like a nice little tactic. Actually, no, I don't even know if it works, does it? Because I have queen g4. Yeah, I don't even think it works. So h6. Okay, so let's go back. And if they play g5, I think I'm sacking the knight. Or maybe the bishop. As a general rule, getting the 2 pawns in front of their king for a piece is usually okay. Now I want to go queen f3. I want to go queen f3 and castle this way. So queen f3, what's the deal? We're threatening this. There's bishop g4, but I can take. They take my queen. I take their queen. I'm up a piece at that moment. They take me. That's an annoying move. Bishop g2 is an annoying one. Okay. So queen of 3, bishop g4. We have, I guess, queen g3. I mean, this just has to be the move, right? I got a castle. I got to get my king out of here, and then I got to attack. So this should be the move. All right, by the way, we have 38 people on the Wheel of Game Review spreadsheet over here. So, nope, make that 39. We'll be doing that at the end of this game, okay? Why do I never go into the Vienna Gambit after knight f3? Yeah, there's one line that I don't like. That's why I don't go into it. Okay, so what is going on here? First of all, they're giving me some nice pawn structure weaknesses if I want it. I think I don't. I think I'd rather attack. I think I'm going to castle. They can play bishop g4, but queen g3, we sack in exchange, we get a massive attack. I'm absolutely okay with that. And of course, if they take here, fine, it opens up my rook. I wouldn't be surprised if they play this. Although, actually, I don't know if it even worked anymore because of this. Okay. Do I trade? Do I take here first and then trade? Trade the queens and then trade. Then we have an endgame, which I don't know if I like. The problem is they're gonna have I don't think we want to take that bishop, guys, but they're gonna force the issue eventually. We could take it and play g4. It's not out of the question. We could do that. G4, g5. If they go here, do we sack? Probably have to sack and keep attacking. Okay, fine. Let's go, guys. Come on. Let's go. We're going to play g5, or they're going to play g5, in which case I'm going to sack one of these pieces. Probably has to be the knight. Actually, it doesn't have to be the knight. You could sack the bishop, then the knight is going to be threatening this. It's relatively easy for them to deal with. H4. No, I think I want the bit. Oh, what? I was not expecting that. Now I can play g5. Now they do have an attack with their knight. For example, knight to d5. Yeah, knight to d5. Interesting. We have to watch out for that, don't we? We can sack the queen and take the knight, but I don't think we get much compensation. If I let them take me, my king is in trouble. I can play queen g3, but does my attack come fast enough? That is really the question. Might be the best try. They're going to play, let's just say b4. We go knight b1. They take. We can run. I think we can run. Okay, let's go queen g3. We have to get out away from this. I'm expecting b4. I'm going to go knight b1. And let him take here. And then basically say, okay, now your queen is completely away from the action over here. If they don't checkmate me, I'm going to checkmate them, right? That's basically what it's coming down to. Yeah, the wheel is something I'm doing, guys. If you're joining late, I'm analyzing people's games based on the number that lands on the wheel. So I spin this thing, and then I analyze their games. You can join. It's totally free. It's just a Google form. There's a link in the description. You click it, you add your information, you get on the wheel. Yeah, G5. Okay, so we got to take it, obviously. Question is, would I rather have a knight or a bishop over there? Man, that is not an easy decision. It's not an easy decision at all. Generally speaking, bishops are better. In this case, I like the attack here. It's kind of an annoying little attack. Bishop, though, also, we could just take and then roll the pawns down the board really quickly, which is also kind of nice. Man, all right. Let's take with the knight. So I'm going to try to sneak the queen in somehow, or maybe take here, depending on what black does next. Feels like my attack's a little slow, so I hope we can find some nice moves here pretty soon, because I don't know, I'm feeling like this is going to take forever to push these pawns down the board. 1, 2, 3, 4 moves just to get my pawn here. I mean, for example, that's too long. I don't think we have 4 moves once these pieces start attacking our king. So I'm going to have to look for something faster, like knight takes, G5, things like that. But now he's going to defend that. Yeah. So what do we do about that? I don't think I want to play B3. H4, again, it's so slow. It doesn't feel like the right plan. But I'm kind of... This is another plan that's a little faster. Little bit faster. So for example, queen takes, queen h4, knight d7, queen h6. Let's say rook f7, check, rook g7. He doesn't let me do it. He wants this, probably. If I take bishop f2, yeah, that's what he's going for, isn't it? Okay. If I take, bishop takes, what about rook f1? Takes, check, check, check. King goes here. We'd probably have a draw, at least a draw. I can also play h4, but then again, bishop f2 is a very annoying move. Bishop f2 is the move that I do not like. Okay, so this is the only line that... Oh, he takes with the king. Wow. For some reason, I was not thinking they would do that. Okay, I'm going to go check, I think. F4, we have to watch out for this. I'm going to try to make him take with a pawn so I don't have to deal with this, and then I can do something else. Maybe we play F4, or maybe we play H4. I'm not exactly sure. Check and push the pawn. I don't know if that's fast enough. Bishop takes d4 is a little trap. I don't think he's going to fall for it. He's probably going to see it and take with the pawn. Ooh. Never mind. We got a little lucky. We got a little lucky. I was setting a sneaky trap. I actually was. Ooh, okay. That's good. That's real good. That bishop was going to be a problem. That bishop was going to be a huge problem for us. Now we're probably winning. Yeah. I mean, it's not over yet, but Black's king is in big trouble. My king actually now looks pretty safe. There was some serious problems with the bishop, taking here and checking me this on this diagonal, but now it's going to be hard for the queen to do anything. Not to mention I'm threatening this. Yeah, so we could play the endgame and win for sure. But it's probably not the best decision, although maybe from a practical standpoint it is. Maybe from a practical standpoint it is the best decision. But his king is so weak, guys. I can't do it. I can't force myself to trade queens in this position. I'm sorry. I cannot do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. I'm going to bring my knight out. I'm going to develop the knight. The knight has done its job. It's time to develop. Takes the pawn. I think that loses. Okay, he goes for the knight over there. Really? Really? Now the knight's going to go back. Yep. I'm going to get ready to push this pawn all the way home. All the way home, guys. Let's take that. Oh, I don't want to get flagged. Okay, let's not get flagged. Let's not get flagged here, folks. We got the rook supporting it. Now's the time. Now's the time to push this guy. Okay, the queen. We might want to watch the queen. We might want to watch the queen coming in there. Rook f4. I guess I'm going to go here. I mean, if he wants to trade queens, I'm okay with that at this point. Because I think the two connected pawns is going to win me the game. Could be wrong, but I believe it should. I also need to get the knight over there. Let's defend it. Ooh, that's an annoying move. I didn't see that. Okay, let's try to keep the pawns. Let's try to keep the pawns alive here, guys. How do we do this? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm gonna get forked, but... Yes! Let's go. Okay, that was pretty close, but I think we did all right. Let's check the game review. Oof. Wow. Wow. I mean, if you didn't know the ratings of the players, what would you guess? Like 800? I mean, what is this? Oh my. What a wild and messy game. I mean, I started it with all my weird shenanigans. Okay, you guys will never believe. You will never believe the best move for black in this position. Please, someone say it in the chat. What do you think the best move for black in this position? I don't think anyone's going to say it. Let's see. Best move for black in this position. Someone says knight to d5. Nope. Someone says g6. Nope. d5. Nope. Bishop d4. Nope. Nope. a5. Nope. 98. Nope. 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 I mean, I can't even believe this is the move. Somebody said king f7. Nope. Okay. The move is for black. And by the way, before I tell you the move, you should make sure you're paying attention. There is a pin here. Okay. The move is knight to h7. What? Stockfish wants to create a counterattack here, get the knight out of there, and now if you play g5, I don't even have the option to sacrifice. And if I try to sack my queen and then take the queen, it doesn't work because they save their queen. So I would be forced to take the queen. Then they take my queen. This is under attack. My bishop is somehow almost trapped. I have to go knight g1. Their rook invades, and black is winning. Knight to h7. What a move. What a crazy move. Anyway, just the start of many wild blunders that were made. I thought I was really winning here after, yeah, they big time blundered this, right? If they would have taken with the pawn, black has a nice position. I don't know what I was going to do. I think I was thinking about f4 or h4, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this was just a big mistake. And then, yeah, the best move actually was going in for the endgame right here, guys. My instinct was telling me it was the wrong decision because of how weak black's king was. I thought there's no way I should trade queens, but actually that was the best and the only way actually to keep the advantage. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, but then they blundered right back. Oh, because they could allow me to do the same thing. They had to go the other way apparently, which All right. Anyway. All right, guys. It's time. I don't want to analyze this too much more. Well, let's go to the end. The end was kind of interesting. Let's check the end right here. Yeah, this is winning. What about back here? So black was totally winning. I thought they were going to fork me. And, oh, I was planning on doing this and trying to play this position. But no, actually, I just needed to go king here. They take my rook, I take their rook. But that's still totally losing. That's still totally losing. No, I'm not going to do that. I would have definitely gone here. And then I probably would have lost this position. But, you know, maybe because of the time situation, I could have pulled something out of my hat. But probably not. No, probably not. Yeah, we got lucky there. They didn't do that. They went for the trade. This is actually totally winning if they just put their king here. Yep. And then they're going to push these pawns. Yikes. Okay. All right. It's time to spin the wheel, folks. So the wheel of game reviews, I'm going to check the list, see how many people we have on it now. We have, let me see. Whoa. Where did you guys come from? All right. We have 46, it looks. No, 45. We have 45 people on here. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this to 45. And I'm going to spin it. Okay? And then we're going to analyze that game. All right? And I'm going to just take a quick break. So I'll be right back. I'm going to spin the wheel, and then I'll be right back to check who wins. Okay? All right, folks. What's up, Waddy? Your rapid is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Like clockwork. Has to be good. I mean, as long as it's 2 forward and 1 back and not the other way around, I think you're good. All right, what do we get? Number 16. Number 16 is going to be Alexi. Why is move 33 a blunder? How should I have converted this endgame? All right, so we got an endgame question from Alexi. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up over here. Okay, very good. All right, guys. Alexi's the winner. What do we have here? He's playing as white. Question is on move 33. Okay. Move 33. Let's see what's going on. So it's a scotch. Okay. There should be 3. We get a bunch of trades. Okay. I like it. Okay. Very good. I like it. Okay, so we have bishop against the knight. Interesting. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Rook ending. All right. Move 33, not 23. 33. All right. Love it. Bringing the king. That's fantastic. Right around here. Okay. So you have the hold on one second. This is too bright. All right, thanks. Okay. When you're playing an endgame, there's a couple things that are always going to be top priorities you want to think about. Number one, active king is very important. Black's king and your king are both pretty active, right? Like this king is pretty well positioned. It can go this way. It can kind of come this way. That's pretty good. Your king is also pretty well positioned. You can target this pawn. You can just keep defending these. So I would say both kings are relatively equal, right? The next thing, and actually maybe this should have been the first thing, but the other thing is passed pawns. So what is the definition of a passed pawn? Any pawn that can get to the other side of the board without being captured or stopped by another pawn. So this is the only passed pawn on the board, right? Because this one, is going to run into this. This is going to run into this. This is going to get captured by one of these. This is going to get captured by this guy. And black's pawns, would get captured. And so black has no passed pawns. So this is a huge advantage for you. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. You probably already know that. I'm just, in case anybody doesn't know, so we want to be focusing on pushing here. Like you always want to focus in the end games on where do you have the advantage? Where do you have the potential to, make threats? Where do you have the potential to obviously get a queen would be ideal? Well, it's right here. You're not going to be able to push these and get a queen. I mean, black has all these pawns, right? This is where your advantage is. One other thing, this is a weak pawn. Very hard for black to defend that unless their king is going to go over there or the rook stays there. So rook h1 might be an idea. Okay. So I'm going to be thinking just from basic, principles there, let's focus here. By the way, and you played, I think, a bad move, c4. You generally do not want to move pawns on your weaker side of the board where your opponent is probably going to be pushing. And if you think about it, let's say, what is black's goal? They probably want to make a pass pawn here, right? And by you playing c4, guess what? They now can immediately make a pass pawn. If this trade happens, they have a pass pawn, just like that. Whereas if you leave your pawn back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to take them like 5 moves before they can create a pass pawn because they have to push both of the pawns all the way down here. You guys see how that works? They can't just push one pawn and you just take it. So generally do not advance those pawns on wherever you're weak. Okay? You don't want to push them. So that I think was a big mistake. You want to push where you're strong. You want to start pushing this. Push it up to here maybe. Put your rook here to target this maybe. Rook e1 check is probably an okay move too because it's gonna cause black to have to make a tough decision, right? Do they go this way and kind of abandon this section of the board? Or do they say, no, it's important for me to stop this. I better go back. And then you force their king back, right? So I like that move. I like f4. I think rook h1 makes sense. Let's see what the engine says. Yeah, the engine says f4 is the best move. So, and that makes total sense, right? We want to be pushing these pawns. That makes total sense. So let's say you would have pushed this. And let's say black, tries to create a pass pawn at d5. I'm thinking now I would probably throw in the check. Or play f5. Engine says both of those are fine. So let's just say we go f5. Let's say they come here. This seems like a reasonable square. What am I going to do? Well, rook e1 check. I'm going to force the king away. Let's say they come up here. I'm going to bring my king in. And focus on pushing this. Let's say they, do this. I'm going to focus on this because guess what? Now I've got the pass pawn marching down the board, right? This is what I want. And, maybe you put your rook here to defend these if you have to. You don't even have to because the king actually can't get in right now. But in some cases, maybe you could do that. But basically, yeah, we're going to march our king down here and use where we have the advantage. Okay. Does that make sense? Questions or comments about what our plan should have been in this case? You guys understand that? All right, so back to the game. Let's see what happened in the game. You played c4. d5 did happen, okay. You took it, yeah, and see, yeah, I didn't even realize what's happening in the game, but yeah, now you have to worry about this, and now you're. I think you still have an advantage because this is a weak pawn, but it's slowly getting away from you, right? Okay, you check b4. Okay, again, this is not helping you at all, right? Like you don't need to move these pawns. You need to be pushing here. You're not making use of the most valuable asset in your position, your pass pawn. Just because there's a rook in front of it doesn't mean anything. You're going to go here and chase that rook around. In fact, sometimes this is actually really bad for the rook because like in the example we were looking at earlier, you know, when you get this type of position, your king is going to be constantly chasing the rook, right? You know, if they go here, you chase it. They go here, you push, then you chase it again, and they keep wasting time. So don't be afraid of that. You need to push those pawns, okay? So yeah, b4, I don't like that at all. And now, yeah, your advantage, you can see the eval bar is actually gone. Now it's just a draw. And so I'm guessing this did not end well. Yeah, you lost the pass pawn. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is going to be tough to draw. It's probably a loss at this point. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good question. Hope that was helpful. I'm going to spin the wheel again, guys. So let me go ahead. Here we go. Who's our lucky number? Number 3. Number 3 is 1, 2, 3. Cody. Cody got it. Wants to know how he can attack better. Okay, let's look at the game and see if we can figure out how to attack better. By the way, I wasn't planning on this, but you gave me the perfect plug. If you want to learn how to attack better, you should check out Chess Vibes Academy, the boot camp that's happening right now. We're doing is attacking, how to attack. So, links in the description. Closes on Friday. It will not be open again until a few more months. It's only open a couple times a year. So check it out. Okay. I'm going to pull up Cody's game. Let me see. And he was Code Mode episode. Playing with the white pieces. All right. How do we attack better? Let's take a look. Okay, I'm not super familiar with the Alpine Sicilian, but I like the big center. Okay, I don't mind e5. Engine doesn't like it, but I like it. I think that kind of makes sense practically. Oh, they have 94. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, whenever you can play e5 and force the knight backwards because you have all of their squares controlled, that's really good, which maybe is what you were thinking, but actually I just realized because the queen is there, that's why the engine doesn't like it, because you actually can't force it back. It can come forward, and that's pretty annoying. You don't really want to be forcing them forward. So maybe a move like just bishop d3. Yeah, bishop d3 is fine. You know, just defend the pawn, develop a piece. That's probably what I would play. Maybe even f3 is interesting. It's you know, if you expect they're going to castle kingside, I do like f3 in a lot of cases, because then whenever the kingside castle happens, you're just set up for an easy pawn storm. Something to keep in mind. So yeah, I think maybe you rushed it here with e5 a little bit. Okay. Oh, knight f3. Interesting. So you're going to gambit a pawn here. Uh-huh. I mean, from a practical standpoint, this is an okay decision. A lot of times you can generate some really nice attacks by sacrificing a pawn like this. So I like that. I like this. Yeah, from a practical standpoint, that's pretty good. Rook c1. Yeah, very good. I love that. Very nice. Okay. Develop the piece. Fantastic. Yep, that looks good to me. They blundered the bishop. Yeah, great. Bishop e3. Yeah, it's good. Check. Uh-huh. Oh man, I want to castle. Oh, you nice. You did. Great. Yeah, engine says 96. 96 is also really good. And I mentioned it a little bit in one of the other games I was playing, where I was like, why do we care about blocking the pawn? Do you remember that? Because it blocks the bishop, because it blocks the rook. All of their pieces are essentially stuck if you can blockade this pawn. Center pawns generally should be moved forward. So if you have an opportunity to blockade them, you need to strongly consider that as one of your main moves, right? I think that's the move I ended up playing in the game when I was playing. It wasn't the best move according to the engine, but it was a strong move, right? Not to mention you have a fork and you're stopping them from castling. But even if that wasn't there, this would still be a good move just because you're taking these pieces out of the game. Okay? So that's something you want to keep in mind. But I like castling. Now it's you have to calculate. Did you spend a lot of time on that? Yeah, you spent a good amount of time, so it's probably fine. You have to calculate what happens if they take your piece. But actually, now that I'm looking at, that's a pretty simple calculation. That's a checkmate, or you win their queen. So great. Yeah, that's easy enough. So yeah, I like castling. Castling's a good move. Oh, they took it. Oh, wow. Yeah, so you should have easily won this game, right? H5. Okay. So probably... Oh, H5 is an interesting try, actually. Yeah, where do we put the queen? Let's think about this. I mean, my instinct says here, but then we lose the knight, so that might not be correct, because then what's our follow-up going to be? Check. They're going to escape. Yeah, so maybe we have to go somewhere like this or to defend the knight. I don't think we want to lose it. Oh, queen f5. Maybe queen f5 is the move, because then you have checkmate. Yes, it is queen f5. Okay, so, you know, you have to identify if you're in this position, the first thing you'd want to identify is what happens if I take the queen? Well, okay, they take my queen. That's a trade. I don't want to trade. I'm down material. I can't do that. I don't want to trade queens. The next thing you have to identify is, you know, what is the problem if I just try to keep the same threat that I just had? Something like this. Oh, well, the problem is I'm going to lose my knight, and then he gets an escape square. That's a problem, right? So eventually you would come to this conclusion that you have to move your queen somewhere that defends the knight. And then I was trying to think, is there a spot that defends the knight and keeps, you know, the threat that I would like to have? And then I was like, aha, queen f5, and that's the best move. So that's how you would come to that move. Did you play that in the game? You did. Yeah, nice. Great. Oh, nice. So this is a good game. I mean, I don't know what the question, I guess this is just like a, let me show you a cool game, but that's, yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. How do you know if you're in the academy? I mean, you would know. You have to join it. There's a link in the description, Chess 5's Academy. We have boot camps every month, but yeah, you just join that. Okay, I'm going to do another game. Let's go get the wheel. The wheel of game reviews is back, and we're going to spin it again. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Number 19. Number 19 is the winner, which just happens to be the Chess Kid. The Chess Kid. Okay, the Chess Kid. Let's see this game, Mr. Chess Kid. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry. Okay. This is, this person's rated higher than me, and they want me to analyze their game. Are you serious? Bro, what is happening? Was there a better way to continue your attack? I don't know. You tell me. Was there a better way to continue your attack? I don't know. Are you guys like trolling me? What is going on? I'm going to show you the game that was submitted. I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to analyze it because I actually want to help people, but I'm going to analyze it. I mean, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to. I can't even talk. All right, here it is. You guys remember this? Is this bringing back some memories? Is this bringing back some memories, Mr. Does it show my score against this person? Huh. Okay. All right. We're moving on. We are moving on. I'm not even going to look at the game. I just wanted to show you who it was. All right. Number 22. All right. Lorenzo. Move 13. Move 13 is the question. Yeah, now we're talking. See, now I can help. Lorenzo, I got you. Okay. This is what I was hoping for. All right. So Lorenzo is skew you. Okay. He's white. Move 13, he had a question. All right, let's take a look. I'll put the engine on. Why not? Okay, so you play knight f3. Very good. Attack the pawn. You take the pawn. Very good. Okay, I want to just show you something. When your opponent, this is really common, okay? When your opponent in e4, e5 openings allows you to either put a queen or a rook on the e file lined up with their king, I want you to do it. I want you to do it almost every time, okay? Because what's going to happen a lot of times at your rating range is they're going to be like, oh, my knight's in attack. I'm going to move my knight, right? And now you're going to hit him with this move, check. You're going to unleash your queen. You're attacking their queen, and you're going to take their queen next move. Okay, this is what's going to happen. Take their queen. Okay? So next time somebody puts a piece here and it's open to their king, I want you to put either a queen or a rook. You can castle and put your rook there, or in this case, you put a queen. Okay? Don't forget that one. Don't forget that one. All right. Back to the game. You took. You took their queen. They took your queen. Okay. You get a bunch of trades here. Yes. Very interesting. All right. So you get the center. That's good. Bring out your bishop. That's fantastic. Very good. Very good move. Yeah, it's a great move. Attack the rook. I love it. Rook e1. Nice. Bring the rook to the center. Perfect. Okay. Let's bring out the other bishop. Very good. Like it. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you always want to try to like be aware of what is under attack or what could potentially come under attack. And when you make your move, before you make it, so you like, let's say you're like, okay, he's attacking my bishop. I'm going to save the bishop. I'm going to retreat somewhere. You always want to ask yourself, what changes about the position if you put that piece there, right? So for example, if you decide, I'm going to move here, what changes about the position? Well, I'm blundering a bishop. I don't want to go there, right? What changes about the position if you go this way? Well, this diagonal is now open. Now, that may or may not mean anything, but you want to get in the habit of asking yourself that question. What is changing about the position, right? So when you go here, well, what's changing about the position? Oh, wait a second. I'm blocking my rook from defending my bit, which is attacked. That's the moment when you want to try to catch those mistakes, right? Because that's a big mistake. Like losing a piece like this is probably going to make you lose the game. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So he didn't see it. So now you have an opportunity to save the position. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and you got it to a pretty good position from here. Yeah. What I'm noticing, Lorenzo, is like, you know, you're making some moves without really paying attention to which pieces are going to be in trouble, right? And so, like in this moment, his last move attacked you, yes, but there's also this attack, right? And by the way, let me tell you something else. Let's say you're in this position, you're like, okay, I could lose a rook, I could lose a bishop. Well, I guess rooks are better than bishops, so I should save my rook, right? This is what a lot of people think. You want to think in terms of point values. Okay, so how many points is a rook? Usually we would say 5. How many points is a bishop? We would say 3, right? So if you move your rook away and you lose the bishop for free, it's like -3 points, right? But what happens if you give up 5, but you get 3 points? That's like a net loss of 2 points. And if you calculate a little further, you even get another point. That's only like a net loss of 1 point. You got a bishop and a pawn, 4 points. You lost a rook, 5 points. That's like losing 1 point. That's much better, actually, than losing 3, right? So try to think about that as well. Yeah, let's see. I think the game's almost over. Yeah, I just blundered the rook, right? So that's what I would say. Takeaways would be number 1, look for these opportunities. You put your queen here lined up on their king and look for these traps, okay? This is going to be very helpful. And then the other thing is try to ask yourself each move, every single move, like what changes about the position? What's going to change if I go here, right? Okay. I hope that helps. All right. Some of these comments are making me laugh. All right. We're going to go to the next next wheel spin here. I'm going to do one more, and then I'll play a game myself. Okay. By the way, let me know in the chat if you guys are enjoying the wheel of game reviews. Okay. Let me know. Let me just see how many people we have on the list here. Now we've got 50 people. I need to update my number here. Hold on a second. We got 50 people on it now. Okay. Here we go. $38. Who's 38? Azim. Just rate your game. Okay, so he doesn't have a question. He just wants me to rate the game. All right, let's rate the game. Uh-oh, my chat just died. Oh boy. Not enough memory. That's not a good sign. Need to close some of these. Let me see if I can... I hope I'm still live. Uh-oh. Oh no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Are we still live? Say yes in the chat. Say we're still live. Say we're still live. Am I live? Come on, guys. Tell me. Tell me something. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Whew. All right. Sorry. My browsers are crashing over here. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. I got the game pulled up. Azim's game. Azim, let me see. Let me rate your game. He is playing with the white pieces. Okay, guys. Here we go. White pieces. Let's take a look. D4. Queen's Gambit. Okay. E4. B5. Okay. A4. All right. All right. Let me show you something really quickly here. And you don't have to do this, but you can play the move E3 instead of E4. And if you face this B5 a lot, you can catch people in a very nasty trap. So you would still play A4. Of course, if they go A6, you take and their rook is hanging, right? So what a lot of people think is, oh, I'll play C6 and now I'm good, right? But what you can do now is take it. And what do you notice about this diagonal? If you said Queen F3, you are correct. And notice we needed the pawn to be here, not on E4, because if the pawn was on E4, we couldn't do this. See that? If the pawn was on E4, we wouldn't be able to do it. But now the rook is trapped. They get blocked with the bishop, you just take it. They block with the knight, you just take it. They block with the queen, you just take it. So basically, black has to choose which piece they're going to give you. And you're just winning right out of the opening. So it's a very nice opening trap, okay? So I just wanted to mention it. Maybe just think about it. If you play the Queen's Gambit a lot and you face this a lot. That being said, E4 is totally fine move. Nothing wrong with E4. Okay. So we go here. You take it. Yeah, that's good enough. Bring out the knight. Very nice move. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in this position, I'm really looking at knight e5 because, well, there's a couple of. I mean, I see what you're doing. You're making a threat. Okay, this might help some people watching. So, I want you guys to answer this question. Okay, what is the difference between this move and this move? What is the same, and what is the difference? See if you can answer that question. And I think this might help a lot of people. So just take a few seconds. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. What is the difference and what is the same between this move and this move? Doesn't the trap in the Queen's Gambit block in the bishop? Yes, it does. It does. And that's a drawback. But that's not a huge drawback. As long as you're prioritizing developing all the other pieces, you can get that bishop out later. So it's not a huge deal. Okay, so somebody says 95 is with tempo. Yes, I would say that's true. That's very good. It's a tempo. You could argue that this is a tempo move too, because he's threatening a very nice move. He wants to take. So this is the point, by the way. He wants to take this. Like if black plays some random move, I think he wants to go knight takes b5. You don't want to give up your queen, so black would take back with the pawn, but then the rook is hanging. So in a way, this is a tempo gaining move as well. He's attacking the bishop, right? So that's a tempo gain too. Someone says, what's wrong with capturing the bishop? If you just take it now, the queen just takes it. Forcing the queen to move, tempo. Yeah, a lot of people are saying tempo. They're both tempo moves. They're both coming with the threat. So that's not the difference. That's not the difference. The knight's defended. The rook isn't. You're getting closer. You're getting closer. The knight e5 forces the queen away so that the queen, so then you can take with the knight. Yes, you're getting closer. Here's the thing that I wanted you guys to recognize. And I don't know that anybody really recognized this. So first of all, tactically this works better because it actually forces the queen to move. And then, yeah, you can just take this. Okay. So from a tactics perspective, this is the correct way to do it. That's one thing, number one. The other thing, this is what I think you guys are going to really learn from. Listen carefully. After black deals with the threat, which move is better? That's what I want you guys to think about. So, for example, there's a threat. We're going to take the bishop. Black's going to deal with it. Stockfish says one way might be c6. They defend. Okay, we no longer have a threat that wins a piece. Do we really like our rook sitting on a5 in this position? Not really. I mean, it's okay, but it's also like might be a target. And it's just kind of weird. Like rooks are long range pieces. I'd much rather the rook be putting pressure from afar than like sitting up there where it could be captured or attacked, right? I don't really love that move for that reason. Okay. What about knight e5? Let's say black deals with the threat. They move their queen. And let's just say for this example, we didn't have this follow-up for some reason. It just didn't exist. Do I like my knight sitting in the center of the board defended by a pawn? Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing, right? So do you guys understand the difference between a really nice looking knight sitting in the center of the board defended by a pawn and my rook sitting over here? Because a lot of people think, it's a threat. You know, it's basically the same thing. I'm attacking. It's basically the same thing. No, because after your opponent deals with the threat, do you like the move that you made? And when you start thinking that way, you start playing so much better moves. Because what a lot of beginners do is they just think any move that's a threat is fine. Anything that attacks a queen or puts my opponent in check, it's fine. But they don't think about like, well, after they deal with the threat, like, am I glad that my piece is sitting there? Am I glad that I played that move? Am I glad that I pushed that pawn? Maybe you made weaknesses, right? That's where you really can start making powerful moves, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I know that took a long time, but that's like a really common thing. And I think a lot of people just don't quite get that. So I hope that makes sense. Okay? All right. Let's keep going. So, but I mean, I like what you're doing. I like how you're creating these sneaky threats. Nothing wrong with that. Just try to think in terms of like, which one just gives me a nice, better piece at the end of it. Okay, so they played in the game c6. You played b3. Very good move. Undermining the... Yeah, see, exactly. Now look at this. You have to waste time now with your rook. If your knight's on e5, you're not going to have that problem, right? That's exactly the reason why knight e5 was better than... And not to mention that we already talked about the tactic. Okay. Yeah, very good. You get their bishop now. Defend. I like it. Take the bishop. Fantastic. Fantastic. Really good. Yep. Develop. Now it gets to get castled. Perfect. Let's bring the knight probably to the center. Rook e1, also very good move. Yeah, I really want to see this knight just jump into the center. That's just a great square for the knight. I really want to see it there. Bishop on c5 is also very good. So yeah, overall, nice little tactic. Very good. Taking advantage of the rook. Yeah, so because you have such a nice looking position, it's okay, but I really don't like this trade. And the reason is, one of the best ways to take advantage of a pin is to attack the pinned piece. So knight e5 is actually the best move in this position. And I mean, now you're going to take it and it's going to be even more powerful. somebody, I think it was Nimzovich, the threat is stronger than the execution, right? That is the case a lot of times with pins. As soon as you trade it off, it's like, well, okay, yeah, it's all right. I'm up a piece, so I can get away with this. But if you weren't up a piece and you did this, it would be a bad decision. Knight e5 is just a killer move, right? That's the way you want to think about it. Okay. All right. So we jump in, we take the piece back. Very good. We get a checkmate. Yeah. Overall, very nice game. For your Elo, this is a very nice game. Yeah, very well played. I would say just remember that one kind of key thing, and that's going to help you a lot. Like at this moment, right? Like this, just understanding the difference positionally and making the move that threatens something, but also has a strong positional move as well is very valuable. Okay. All right. We are going to. I'm going to play a game now myself. I will probably do a few more wheel spins after this next game. So if you want to get on it, there's a link in the description. Don't forget, Chess Vibes Academy is open. We are doing an attacking boot camp, but it closes on Friday. Should I play a longer game or a shorter game? We'll do 10 minutes so I can do some more game reviews. All right. Here we go. D4. Let's play D5 this game. I've been playing a lot of King's Indian, but let's play this. I'm going to try to play a note boom. I'm going to hope for Knight C3 here. No, he goes for this. Too bad. That is too bad. All right. Well, we're not going to overthink it. We are definitely not going to overthink this. We're just going to develop our pieces and move on with the game here. That's exactly what we're going to do. All right. I want to play E5, but am I losing some material here? I might be. So maybe I should be in kettle the bishop here. Probably have to take this pawn. And let's make a trade. And let's save my bishop. I think we'll go right here. I have to keep an eye on this. This could be a problem for us, guys. You have to watch out, but I'm going to play bishop to b7. So I think we're okay there. I want to play knight f6 and trade, but I got to watch out for bishop g5. So I have a couple of things to be very careful of in this position. So let's start with bishop b7. I think that's a good choice. Deal with that. Okay. And now here is an idea. Maybe even e5 is usually a good move. Oh, they go with bishop g5. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so this is a nice tempo move, but it does come at a cost. We permanently weaken this diagonal. Now, I think I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be able to tuck my king and you know, not have too many regrets. But you definitely want to be very careful playing moves like this. And now I think is the time. Let's go e5. So we're putting some pressure on the center. We're trying to open up our position a little bit here. And I do, like I said, have to watch out for the diagonal right here. Okay. Okay, bishop c3. If we take it, what happens? What happens if we take it, guys? Queen takes or bishop takes? The bishop takes, we can play c5. Ooh, there's this nasty check and takes my bishop. I don't like that. I mean, I could defend the bishop. That just feels so weird. Feels so weird, but maybe it's what we need. Maybe it's what we need in the position. Takes, yeah. Let's play rook b8. We got to have this defended. There's too many tactics where the knight jumps. Okay, this is a move I actually missed. I hope I'm not going to be in trouble now. Definitely have to take it, otherwise the pawn's just running down. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. D6 is coming, guys. This is bad news. This is bad news. We have to either chase this guy right now or maybe go for knight c5. If they push, we take. They take. I don't think we can get away with that. We're going to have to go for f5. Knight g5 they can't play. Knight d2 would be fine for us. So the move that must be considered is d6. We take, they take, we take. Yeah, it's got to be played. It's the only thing we can do in this position. So I'm expecting d6. Takes, takes, takes. What are they going to play? Rook c1? Maybe our knight can probably jump in. We do have some f-file pressure here, which is kind of nice. I can't believe they're going to play knight d2. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm definitely expecting d6. And the reason we have to be aggressive and chase this knight now is because our bishop's getting trapped. And even if we, let's just say, give the bishop somewhere to go to, once they push and we go back, they're just coming in with a check and the rook is coming over. And I mean, our position is just awful. That pawn is just totally cramping us. So that's why we have to get this knight out of here. We have to do this. Okay, yeah, so he goes for it. We got to take the knight. We got to take back and play this position, which, I mean, in general, the bishops are going to be better than the knight, but this is I don't know. We have some nice counterplay, I think. So I'm not too concerned with our position. Yeah, let's think about this carefully. This is a critical moment here. So we could play a move like knight f6 or knight c5 immediately. Let this happen. We're going to lose a pawn. We could take first, then play this. I think we still lose a pawn. Here, you might even try to hit me with bishop there. Or I wait and I play something like rook d8. You can also play queen c. Oh, there's so many candidate moves in this position. Wow. You can also play this. But I don't think I'm able to give up my knight. It doesn't seem like it's good enough. Wow. Yeah, I don't even know. You can also put the rook here to defend that pawn. I'm torn. I feel like we should get this rook into the game on one of these squares. I'm just not sure which one. All right, let's go here. Let's try to defend the pawn at least for another move or two. We might sacrifice it if the right opportunity presents itself. But for right now, I'd like to hold on to it because otherwise we're going to have to deal with the really annoying bishop here. Also, I feel like we should be looking for opportunities to attack this square somehow. And of course, like I said earlier, like this diagonal is always a concern, right? So moves like bishop d5 and queen b3 and queen d5, you have to constantly consider those moves. But Right now, at queen b3, I mean, I'm just going to move my king. It's not the end of the world. Queen h5. We always are going to have like knight f6 or bishop e4 ideas. And white does have to keep an eye that there's not some crazy, knight f6, knight g4, e4, putting a lot of pressure there. Queen c5, somehow attacking that. Like, this is what I'm looking to do. Okay, rook c1, very logical move. Hitting my queen. Okay, how about knight c5? Knight c5 just looks like a nice move because we potentially have a fork. We block off the immediate threat. Now there is b4, but then that weakens the bishop, which might not be something that white wants to do. Also, it puts an immediate pressure on this. And if they take, we get to have our queen get away from the rook. We do lose a pawn, potentially. Uh-huh. I'm just trying to think through the best way to do this. Because we could also trade first. I don't know if they would move their bishop, though. No, then we would have queen b7. Okay, so I think they would take. Then knight c5. The queen actually defends. So basically, look, if they could have taken me, it lures my queen away from the defense of the pawn. If I take them, my queen stays defending the pawn. So now I have two defenders, two attackers. I can move my knight. Don't have to worry about losing the pawn. I do have to worry about the rook. But if my knight's going to c5, I think I have some time to deal with that. Also, if I get knight c5, they have to move their rook. Yes. Oh, I noticed they have queen check. I missed this. Okay. Well, what I was going to say is if they have to move their rook, they might also have bishop e5. I should have maybe no, I'm running out of time. I can't think too long. Okay. I was going to play d3 anyways, what I was going to say. Queen f7 takes. There's got to be some fancy tactics here, guys. I'm telling you, there must be some fancy tactics. Just don't know what they are. Yeah, the problem is the fancy tactics are just going to leave me in a equal ending. Okay, but I'd rather an equal ending than a lost ending. You guys see the tactics, right? There's all these fork patterns. Look at it. You see it, right? So that's what the clue is. There's some sort of something, either a here or here or here. We just have to get the order right. After the trade happens, we got to get the order right. What is the order? And if they don't take, I don't know how white defends everything because I'm threatening this, I'm threatening this, I'm threatening this. I'm pretty sure they're going to take me. And then they're going to take the pawn. And then that's when we have to do the calculation. Yeah, maybe it doesn't actually work, which is really sad. Because the fork, there's this annoying check. We have to go back. They just trade. They move their bishop, and we were down a pawn. We do not want that. But I don't see a solution. Ah, what if we go rook f8? Then they have to defend. Let's say they play f4, they get forked. Okay, so let's say they play rook back. Yeah, but then we could do it. Takes, 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 takes. There's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Check, kings goes here. The pawn's under attack, and my knight, I believe, escapes. Okay, I think this is the move. Ooh. Ooh. That's a sneaky one. Although, is it a good one? What if I just go here? What if I just go here, guys? Obviously, we're not going to let them take that. We could go here and take... No. We're going to go here. We're going to get rid of probably the bishop and then take the pawn. I knew there was going to be a fork at some point. So... let's say they save the rook. Actually, I have to make a decision. Do I trade and go rook f2, or do I just take and keep the annoying pesky knight? The knight is really causing some problems right now. We might want to keep it around a little bit longer. Very tough decision, actually. Rook g4. This is good because we get our rooks are super active. The problem is their rook comes down. I'm going to have to come back. It's probably a draw. Again, same kind of question. Takes, 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 takes. The rook comes down. It's probably a draw. I don't see much more than that. This way. Oh, this is so tough, guys. This is so... It just looks like the knight has so many good options. I'm going to keep the knight. I'm going to keep the knight right now. Hopefully I don't regret this. This looks like a nightmare for our opponent. A literal nightmare. They've got to watch out for this. They've got to watch out. Check. 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 Hold everything, guys. Do we have something here? Check. Check. Ooh. Ooh. We might just have something fancy. We might have something really fancy. Let me think. Oh, King G1. Oh, I didn't see King G1. Oh, Nelson, what are you doing? I messed up, guys. I'm so sorry. We're going to lose. Yep, they found it. Now we're going to lose. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope. Knight f6. I'll explain this after the game if I have time. Okay. We live to fight another day, kind of. It's not the greatest position, but hey. We're still in the game. Okay. It's a bad position, but we got to try to hold on here. I have a couple ideas I would like to try if we get an opportunity. Yeah, it's going to just come down to, can we potentially flag him, I guess. Yeah, it's just a draw. It's just a draw. I'm going to offer them a draw. Declined the draw? Okay, so they want to try to flag me? So lame. I was trying to be nice, give them a draw. Whatever. It was the 2 seconds that I was being nice that made me lose. Yeah, okay. All right, let's do some game reviews. We have 58 people. So I'm going to change the number here. 58. Okay. If they pre-move, no, they didn't pre-move. I offered it when it was my turn and gave them a chance to accept it, and they declined it when it was my turn. So, yeah, whatever. Some people like to win that way. All right. Let's spin it. Who's it going to be? 24? Aleem. Aleem is the lucky winner. Okay. Aleem, let's get the game here. And let me see, what's the question? Move 30. Move 30, all right. Move 30, and you are... Okay. Aleem is playing with the black pieces. All right, let's see, move 30. Let me flip the... No, he's playing with white. Sorry, he's playing with white. Okay. Put the... Okay, d4, I like it. Striking at the center. I like that. Castling, getting away from there. Very good, very good. That's fine. Pin the knight. Very good. Perfect. Yeah, that's okay. F4, okay. Yeah, this looks like it's just losing a pawn. So I think, you know, you're not totally developed. I mean, you are, but the rooks need to come into the game as well. This one's kind of already in a good spot. This one is not. So I would be looking for moves that, you know, allow you to bring the rook to a nice square. I think that's going to be the most helpful thing probably in this position. And imagine if you had a rook here, you wouldn't be losing a pawn, right? So I think that's what I would try to do. Yeah. Because now you're just going into an endgame where you're going to have to worry about this extra pawn that they have, which is not what you want, right? Okay. Oh, but you got the pawn back. Nice. And now you're in this endgame. Okay, yeah, I see we're getting to the moment. Yeah, you have a big win. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, move 30. So I'm not sure what the question is, but the reason that you win, this is actually really instructive, is opposition. So opposition is when the kings are directly opposed. And the interesting thing about it, right, is that whoever's turn it is has to move away. So if it's, if it's black's turn, they have to either move backwards or to the side. And that allows you to invade the other direction. And in a position like this, that's really, really great. Because if they go this way, you're going to invade and take all these pawns and win. If they go this way, you're going to invade and take all these pawns. And it turns out, after they go here, that you can put them into opposition if you're smart with how you push the pawns. And you did exactly right. You blockade here. They only have one pawn move left. And then you make the last pawn move, like we saw in the game. And aha, now it's opposition. They're not going to just give away free pawns. They have to move the king. Very good. So you invade. And you go and you win the pawns. Yeah, I mean, this is it. That's great. And I think you probably did the right thing, right? Yeah. Now it's just a question of who's going to win the race. And even though you lost the race, you get the check, which is great. You have extra pawns. Very nice. Yeah, very nice move. Nice. Look at that. Perfect. Yeah, very good. That was more of like an instructive endgame really than a question, I guess. Yeah, very good. Very nice. All right. Here we go. Let's spin the wheel again. Okie dokie. Oh, number 24 again. Wow. All right, we're going to spin it again. We just got 24. All right, 50. 50. So that's somebody who joined a little bit later. Mr. Goatman 3. Mr. Goatman 3. All right. And moves 10, 13, 20, 23, 25. You just want insights. Okay. Got it. What you should have done instead. Okay. From moves, basically from moves 10 to 25. All right, let me pull up the game here. Mr. Goatman 3. Okay. Was playing as black. All right. Let's take a look. All right, so we have a Ruy Lopez. Okay. Bishop e6. All right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the times in these types of positions, d5 is kind of a key move, right? When you're playing in e4, e5 openings, and it actually goes for both sides. A lot of times white wants to play d4 and black wants to play d5. Now, usually there's some development of pieces and, kings get to safety first. But when you have the opportunity, that's a move you want to look for. Now, in this position, it looks like you're losing a pawn. So you have to think through that. But there is, in the Ruy Lopez, there's an opening called the Marshall attack. And the whole point of the Marshall attack is very similar to this position, where you would give up a pawn, let's just say, if they decide to take it like this. And then you get to generate an attack on their king, for example, bishop d6. So they save their rook. You bring out your queen. And notice how you have all these pieces targeting their king, and they're still not really developed. That's a very good compensation for a pawn. In fact, Stockfish thinks you're borderline winning. unless white plays really good defensive moves. So, moral of the story and the key takeaway is look for these d5 moves. Not to mention, you could take with a queen, which also just defends your pawn. You don't have to lose a pawn, actually. Okay. Your move, let me see. What was your idea? Yeah, so you did play d5 later, which is good, but I think, d5 is going to be more effective when your knight's on f6 and your queen is available. When you go here, and now you play d5, like it's okay, and it's probably, a move that you have to play, but it's not quite as effective, right? So just something to think about. Okay, but yeah, I think d5 is kind of necessary here. Yeah, f6 looks like it's almost a blunder because of the rook here. I say almost a blunder because they didn't take it. Maybe you can take with the rook and defend, but now your position gets really shaky, right? Like bishop g5. How are you dealing with this? I guess there's some tactics that maybe save you, but you don't really want to be creating weaknesses in your position that you don't have to, right? Maybe there's some tricks tactically where it works and you can save yourself, but you didn't even have to put yourself in that position in the first place, right? So you want to be really careful playing moves like that. Moves that create undefended pieces that are going to be easy targets for your opponent generally are not moves that you want to play, right? Unless it's like, hey, this is the only move I have left. I'm running out of options. I have to do something. Okay, maybe you have to make an exception. But you had other options, like maybe knight b4. Go and get that annoying bishop, right? This is one of the attacking pieces in white's position. Why don't you just go trade it off? And then you can play c5 and open up your position. Or maybe, you reroute your knight around over here. Or maybe, here's an idea, rook e8 with the idea of knight f8. Because now your knight is really great defender against this strong bishop, right? Things like that, where I'm not creating more weaknesses in my position, but I'm still doing something productive. That's what you want to, because you can make an argument that, f6 is doing something helpful, undermining white's center, which it is. But it comes at a very big cost, right? Like this bishop on e6 is a huge weakness. So you want to try to find plans that don't come at such a high cost. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's go back to the game. Queen d3. So now you have to watch out for the checkmate. Obviously, well, it's not checkmate, but it's pretty close. So you play g6. Yeah. See, this is, and I think this is one of the engine's moves. But every time you move a pawn in front of your king, it becomes weaker. And I'm just really concerned for the safety of your king after this move, right? Now, that when I said earlier about rook e8 with the idea of knight f8, good example of what I'm talking about. Now this might be a nice move to play. You don't create any weaknesses. You keep everything defended. That's what you want to try to do. Okay. So you play g6. That being said, white didn't really punish you for it. And yeah, you got into a nice position. You got into a pretty nice position. Yeah, this is okay. I mean, the engine is saying d4 is just a killer here for white. I guess you're just going to throw this pawn down the board pretty far. Not to d3 just yet, but maybe eventually. But I mean, white hasn't developed. Oh, that's probably the idea. You're stopping knight c3. Yeah, that's why it's such a good square for the pawn. So yeah, d4 would have been a nice move. Also the bishop, right? The bishop's scope. Look at that. So d4, yeah, very good move that was missed. Okay, bishop f5. Yeah, I mean, your position is still fine. Yeah, that's a good move. Bishop c5 is a good move. Very nice. Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Engine seems to think you're totally winning. Is it a queen trap? Is that what it is? Oh, it's a queen trap. Look at that. Queen is totally trapped. That is why you're so winning. Yeah, that's a hard one. Retreating moves like this can be tricky to spot. Yeah. But that was the best move. Okay. But you played pretty well. You played a pretty nice game. I mean, overall. Now you're just totally winning. Yeah, I got the queen. Very nice. Yeah, good game. Good game. Okay. Let me see. What are we looking at time wise? Let me play another game and then I'll do. Actually, let me do one more spin. I think we're gonna do one more spin. All right, here we go. 30. Didn't we already do 38? Yes, we did. Wow. The same number. Let's try that again. 12. Okay, I don't think we've done number 12, right? All right. Start with move number 9. Grimalkin, if I'm pronouncing that. Grimalkin? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but no, move number 9. Okay. Move number 9. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This was a 10-minute game. All right. F3. Interesting move. All right. I don't mind it. I don't mind it if you're... Oh, okay. If your idea is to go back here and then play E4, all right, fine. So, very strange opening. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the plan is here. You're kind of wasting a lot of time. I know you said start on move 9, but I just want to talk about this for a second. If you want to castle queenside quickly, that's fine. But the way that I would do it would be bring out the bishop to here or here. Bring out the queen now, and then castle. But don't waste time like doing this and moving the bishop around and, just put it on a good square. Go here and castle. And then you can very quickly play E4 if you want. Or even F3 if E4 if you need to. But just, it's going to save you a lot of time. So that's what I would say. Okay. All right, but he said move 9, so let's go to move 9. There should be 2. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your queen should not be getting trapped in most games, right? The reason it's getting trapped is primarily because you were doing some weird stuff with the pawns, like I said, right? Like if we go back to the example I was just showing you, your queen is never going to get trapped in a situation like this because you're always going to have this option, right? If the knight ever comes out and attacks you, well, fine. I'm just going to move back here. I'm going to move over here. Even if I had played E3, it's still not trapped. I have options. So that is why when you follow the principles of like bring the pieces out to good squares, push the pawns, castle, usually you're not going to walk into those things. You were kind of in this game breaking some of the principles, right? Like this is not a normal developing move. This is not exactly a normal developing move. Now it's actually, if you would have dropped it back here, okay, this is reasonable because you create some light square weaknesses, but then you immediately fill them in with the bishop. And you actually get this nice looking position where everything is kind of controlled. And then maybe you play E3, at some point, and the bishop comes out and now you have a relatively normal looking position, right? But the way that you did it, it was just a lot of shuffling around and you basically trapped your queen yourself, right? With all these pieces, unfortunately. So try to be a little bit more careful with those opening moves, I guess is the big takeaway. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, at this point, it's going to take a lot of luck to come back in the game and you did. Wow. That's amazing, actually. Okay. Nice game. Nice game. Lost the queen and still got the checkmate. Very good. Very good. By the way, you'd be surprised how many people at this rating range will resign and just quit in a position like this. Oh, I lost my queen. I'm done. Resign. Move on. I like that you didn't and that you kept fighting. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. The wheel is sus. No, the wheel is totally random. It's totally random. Trust me. It's a random wheel. Okay, let's play one more game here. I'm going to try not to be tilted, and then I'll do a few more reviews, and we'll call it a night. How does that sound? I'm still annoyed at this opponent. Like, I could have probably flagged them, and I'm like, no, I'm going to offer the draw, and then they really wanted to win that badly. I mean, come on. Come on, dude. Pretty frustrating. Okay, let's go. Let's go E4. We played the Vienna game last time. Let's play a center game. Let's play a center. I'm feeling a center game here. Whoa! I don't think that's a move. I don't think that's supposed to be a move. I don't think this is supposed to be good. Let me think about this. There should be a reason this is not played more often. Could it be Queen D5? Could it be? Bishop C4. Knight F3. I like knight F3. Let's take it a little slow. We'll go for the checkmate later, maybe. I want to get this knight out first. Okay. Now I'll go for the checkmate. Knight E6. Okay, it's a very awkward square for the knight. Even though you kind of think, oh, it's in the center, but it's just kind of awkward. I think we already have a really good position. Knight C3. I think we already have a really good position. Okay, so I would love to castle queenside. I also would love to just castle kingside. Just get the king out of the center right now. Also would love to just develop the bishop somewhere. Yeah, let's just develop the bishop. Let's keep our options open. We could castle either way. Knight b4, I'm not really concerned. We're going to just go to d2. Defend the pawn. Okay. So they want to castle this way. I could do the same thing, because if I go this way, I'm going to have some weaknesses around my king. But then I can just immediately launch the pawn storm. Yeah, I think that's going to be super handy, actually, to throw the pawns forward. Let's castle this way. I mean, look at Black's position. Black's position just looks super awkward. Like, what are they even doing? I mean, this looks so weird. Okay. I don't think I care. I mean, I'm just going to move my king. I don't think that's a big deal. In fact, I might even just go there right now. Yeah, and we can always play bishop c1. My king is totally fine. Okay. I feel like we should play knight d4, but is that the best move I can play? Hold on, let me think about this. Knight here is also an option, but I like knight d4. My idea is a couple. Number one, I want to go knight f5. Very nasty move. But I also want to push this pawn up here. Get rid of the knight and then just open up his king. If you take, you have to fix my pawn structure for me. I mean, okay. I'm going to just go back and chase you away, probably. Not really sure what black is trying to achieve here. I have bishop c1 if I want. Or I can just ignore it and play this. Maybe also knight f5 at some point. Yeah, I'm liking knight f5. I'm liking f4, f5. Let's see what black does. Okay. So I guess we got to save the queen. I mean, I was considering briefly sacrificing it, but I don't think that's going to cut it. So, queen e4 looks like a great square. Ah, maybe he wants knight c5. Let me think about this. Queen e4, knight c5. I have to move somewhere. How about here? This doesn't really bother me. Can also go all the way back to f3, which kind of traps the knight from moving because of this threat. So that might be the way to go. Yeah, let's. Then I can't play f4, f5. Do we have enough other stuff going on though? It's a tough one, isn't it? Okay, let's go f3. This is pretty annoying, I think. So we'll go here. I think black still has some problems because I still have knight f5 ideas. I can still play bishop c1 at any moment if we want to get rid of the queen. Don't need to at the moment though. What's bad about queen c4? Yeah, queen c4, I didn't want queen b5 to happen. I mean, pawn b5 to happen. And just gain time, maybe attacking me or something. Or even letting the bishop out. This way I keep black's position and very tied down. They're going to have a hard time figuring out what move to play next. Because you don't really want a castle, probably, because okay. Because I just attack them over here. Like maybe now I play queen g3. Threatening bishop h6. I can also play knight f5, takes. Rook d3 is a move at some point, but I think maybe queen g3. G4, G5, even just straight away looks pretty good too. And again, it's one of those situations where you have so many good moves. What do you play? Okay, I like this. Just the direct pawn storm, taking advantage of the hook here. G5, try to trade it off, open up this for the rook. That just seems very quick and very effective. Let's do that. If they decide to take that, I think I'll take back with the pawn. Okay. So, I mean, this trade, yes, it might happen. It's fine. It's not a huge deal. Let's keep going. I do have to decide, how do I take back which pawn? I mean, this one looks good fixing the pawn structure, but I don't love that there's a bishop. Can't go there right now, but maybe in the future it could. This, I don't like that it's going to allow this. He doesn't even trade it. Interesting. I mean, what? Let's just take the. I mean, I saw there was a rook, but I don't even care about the rook. Honestly, my queen might get trapped anyway, so we're just gonna checkmate the king. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna checkmate the king. Looks like it's happening really soon, actually. Looks like it's happening really soon. Checkmate on G7. How are you going to stop that if you're black? G6? Nope. 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 Oh, there's a knight there. Whoa, I almost took it. I almost took it, guys. I literally thought it was game over. I forgot his knight is here. Okay, hold on. How do we get rid of the knight? Bishop G5? Ooh, knight F5. Hold on. Knight F5 might be even better because knight F5 threatens. Check. Bishop G5 is good too. Because if we get the bishop on F6, that also is a checkmate. Wow. So I have two really powerful moves. Which one is better? Knight F5, check. He might be able to somehow survive. So I'm thinking bishop G5 is even better. Right. So he wants to do this, although that's not even honestly. Oh, no, no, no. This is checkmate. Okay. I do have to deal with that. That's the threat. All right. Hold up. Hold up. So we could play bishop C1. Check. I move. There's no checkmate there. He has to move the queen away. Game goes on. Problem is, I'm trying to attack with this. So I think the correct thing is to just take the knight, but then this. So if we take bishop f6, well, let's say I do check first. Check. King goes back. Bishop f6. Okay, so we're threatening checkmate. We're threatening checkmate. Unless black has an immediate thing, they lose. They just lose. Yeah, they don't have anything. So that's how we win. That is how we win, guys. We have to throw in this move first, though. We have to throw this in. Because we want to make sure his king doesn't blockade the pawn. Okay, so that's the first step. Now we take here. So we don't get mated. And once they take back, it's over. Yeah, it's over now. Check, bishop here, we win. Let me just verify. No, 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 no. No checks. You can't stop it. That's it. That's game over. If you go here, it's even faster. And yeah, that's what we call a mating net. That's a pretty good game. Pretty good game. All right, guys, don't forget Chess Vibes Academy. It closes on Friday, so go check it out. Click the link in the description. Read the sales page if you want. Kind of see what it's about. We're doing the Attack First Bootcamp right now. You can literally start watching the videos immediately when you join. So I highly recommend that. We're going to do a separate live stream. You can ask me questions about your games. So definitely check that out. All right. There's the checkmate. Okay. Let's analyze this one. This is an interesting game. Let's see what Stockfish is going to say. We did have a brilliant move. Okie dokie. All right. Yeah, I mean, this was an awful move right from the beginning, and I knew it was pretty bad. You just can't do that. Ah, and I played the wrong move. So it was queen e2. So let's see, what does Stockfish want here? Well, we're attacking the knight. Of course, if you try to defend it, now when we en passant, there's a pin. So that's self-explanatory why it wants the queen here. The thing is, I thought after knight c5, what am I doing? So Stockfish says we develop. Okay, let's say black develops as well. Oh, it wants to play f4 right away. And you can never really push this pawn with black because the annoying queen. So you're stopping them from developing in a way. So let's say they play bishop e7 because they want to push this. So now Stockfish says bishop e3. And again, if you push this pawn, you get into trouble. Now it's because we castle and we're going to target it like this. If you push it one square, again, we castle. And so you're getting these X-ray attacks all over the place. Not to mention, let's say they just castle. We're still going to do that. We en passant. That's a free piece. Wow, this pin is so nasty. You guys see that? So black is really forced to do something like this. And then Stockfish says, we are going to come over here and probably just checkmate you or just attack you. That is so interesting. So for future reference, queen e2. Go with the quick castle and put the pawn on f4. And black is in big, big trouble. That is really interesting. Okay. I did queen d5 as I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, and I did not get into... Actually, I did get into a good position. Okay, so yes, Stockfish agrees with me on queen f3. That's nice. And it likes g4. Yeah, it likes g4. Yep. Nice. So I did make a good decision there. And here it wanted knight f5. I mean, I knew knight f5 was a good move in a lot of cases. I just also felt like g5 was, which Stockfish disagrees with because of h5. Just letting me take this? g6? Allowing me to do this? This looks like checkmate, guys. What is this? Stockfish wants to play knight to d5. Oh, it wants to go on the attack, and then d6 kind of stops the rook from coming in. So I have to go h4, h5 it this way, but it's still winning for me. I mean, okay, I don't know. I guess my position is just good. So g5 is not that bad. All right. Yep, take. Queen g4. Oh, so what Stockfish would do here is actually drop back, force the queen away, and then use the knight like I was looking at. That way, both pieces get perfect jobs. This perfectly defends my king. This, of course, they can't take me because of this pin. This is a good tactic, guys. It's a very sneaky tactic. A lot of your opponents will miss it. Pawn is pinned, so it's not defending this, okay? So you can take a check. And, yeah, it's going to lead to a checkmate real soon. You're going to put your rooks here, and it's over. So, yeah, that's actually very smart. Get rid of black's threats first, then you attack. Very clever, very clever. Okay, so I did kind of do the wrong thing. However, I saw this nice move h7, and then we trade off that guy, and then we do have the checkmate. Oh, it's brilliant, I guess, because our rook is hanging. I don't know. Okay. All right, cool. Very cool. Who pays? Well, there's thousands of information for free on the internet. Yeah, that's exactly the point. There's so much information for free that it's actually nice to have it organized in a nice way for you. That's my opinion anyway. All right, I'm gonna spin the wheel. I'm gonna spin the wheel again. Let me update this up the count here. Let me see how people we have. 68 people. All right. 68 of you guys are on the list. By the way, my wheel supports, I don't know if you saw that. My wheel supports 1 million viewers. I don't think we're going to be needing that for some reason. All right, here we go. Number 23 is Jab D4. Jab D4. Move number 10. Asking about a queen trade. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the question. Asking about a queen trade. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Move number 10. Is the queen trade good, basically, is the question, I think. All right, let's see. And you are black. All right. Sorry. D5. E6. Interesting move. Okay. If they take, I like the position you get. Is this the question? You said move 10? Is forcing a queen trade advantageous? Okay. I would say from white's perspective, yes. If they can force a queen trade, that's good for them. Why? Because, well, they have an extra pawn, first of all. 7 against 6. Also, your pawns are messed up. Also, you have a lead in development. They're not developed yet. So if you can launch an attack, you're going to have very good chances. All of those things would lead to, yes, this is going to be good for white. Now, your option, if you don't take this, is what? To take this way? That really blocks your queen. It's an isolated pawn. Yeah, you can keep queens on the board, but I don't think your position is any better that way. So unfortunately here, you kind of have to do this. Now let me think if there was a different way that I would have done this earlier. Bishop D6. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. I mean, I think your opponent kind of did it in a nice way. Yeah, Engine says Queen D3. Always, like we've talked about it multiple times on the stream, always look for those opportunities when you can block the pawns, right? The D and the E pawn. So that definitely makes sense. Even here, if a trade happens, I would be okay with this because, again, you keep it blockaded. They still are going to have a hard time developing their pieces, which is great for you. So this would be where I'd be okay. Yeah, that's tough. I guess there's not an easy way to keep the queens on the board. Unless you just do something like this, maybe. Just castle and try to generate play on the king side. Like if they castle, for example, I think you have decent chances. You have all these pieces. They're not developed. Try to generate an attack. And you keep queens on the board. Yes, your pawns are awkward, but at least you can put pressure here. It's probably your only other option. Or you got to kind of do what happened in the game and be okay with this, right? Because you can't stop it. But it's not the end of the world. I mean, you do get some counterplay because they're not developed. Is it enough to win the game? I don't know, but apparently it is. Oh, there you go. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, I think you did fine. All right, let's go. Let's go spin the wheel again. Here we go, guys. $52. Nick. Opposite color bishop endgames and their complexities. Okay. Oh, this was an OTB game. All right. Yeah, let's talk about it. Nice. Let's talk about it. Okay. OTB game from Nick. Okay, this should be interesting. All right. So opposite color bishop. Let's see what happened. So Nick is playing with the black pieces. Let's go ahead. Okay, he plays the Benoni, which I'm not a expert on. But we end up with a locked center. Okay. Bishop e7. All right. Okay. Rerouting the knights. Trying to play for b5, which I do think is probably pretty common. So that looks pretty smart to me. Uh-huh. Ooh, okay. Yeah, why do I not like this move? Something about this move just looks weird to me. I'm trying to think what it is. Stockfish says it's not a big deal. Maybe it's the square on c6 I don't like. I'm just envisioning one day a knight is going to land there or this is weak now and it's just something about it. I don't know. Let's keep going though. I don't think it's a huge deal. Yeah. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. We have opposite color bishops. Not just a black bishop and a white bishop, but a bishop on a dark color square and a bishop on a light color square. Okay. So, general principles. Number 1, whoever can launch an attack on the opponent's king first generally has the advantage because the other bishop's not going to be able to do anything to stop you. So, if you can start the attack quickly, that's good for you. The other thing, endgames where all the other pieces get traded are usually highly likely to end in draws because it's easy for your opponents to create blockades with their bishop and you can't do anything about it. Your bishop's on the wrong color and it goes both ways, right? Apart from that, you kind of just have to, depend on what's going on. Like look at the position and see what happens. So let's keep going and see if there's anything that jumps out. Yeah, I don't think you had to give up the pawn here. It looks like rook b4 is a nice looking move, and you keep it defended. So definitely would have considered rook b4. I guess you're trying to activate your knight on d4 maybe is the idea. Yeah, okay. Looks like a nice square, but I'm not sure if it was worth giving up the pawn for. Yeah, so see, when I see this, I am basically thinking two things. If I can generate an attack, that's going to be my best chance to win the game. I'm also thinking I have to be careful. If white's able to generate an attack on my king, I could be in big trouble. Otherwise, it's going to be a draw every time because these bishops are not going to be able to do anything, right? Now, if there's more pieces on the board, like there are in this position, attacks are still very likely and still could happen. But as the queens and rooks get traded, I know I'm headed for a draw. So if you don't, if you're okay with the draw, by all means, trade the queens and the rooks, right? Take a draw. If you don't want to draw and you want to try to win, you got to keep these on the board and you got to attack their king somehow. And that's not always easy, right? I'm looking at the second rank. I'd love for you to get a rook there if possible. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost wondering, can you just go here right away? You ended up going there eventually. I guess in my mind, just really quickly, I'd rather have my rook sitting on a dark square where it could be defended and not worried about the bishop than on a light square where it could be a target. Small thing. Probably doesn't matter too much, but that's just where my mind is at. Yeah, see, now you have to waste time, right, moving it. So, okay, interesting move. They can't take the rook because the queen is under attack. All right. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you don't want to draw, don't do this. Got to keep the queens on the board if you're going to try to win. If you're happy with the draw, then okay, play this. But the chances of you winning this game now, yeah, extremely unlikely now that all the pieces just got traded, right? Someone says based on the ratings, Nick definitely wants to win. Yeah, I mean, if that is true, these last couple of moves were not correct. So let's think about this. Let's think about it. Let's pretend we're playing in a game. We don't want a draw. Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do, I think definitely is I'm going to bring this rook here. And I'm going to try to create some sort of a battery maybe. So for example, I don't know what white was going to play. If they attack my queen, I'm going to look for a position like this, creating a battery where these guys are defended. I have pressure on the bishop. If the queen moves, I might have some back rank pressure. And at some point, I think you have to try to activate this bishop. Now, what exactly does that look like? I don't know. Maybe we put it here. Maybe we sneak it around here. But right now, it's just like a pawn, basically. It's just like a pawn. So I'm going to be looking at moves like bishop here. It's hard for me to say what, because I don't know what white was going to do, right? But this is what I'm thinking. Keep the pieces on the board. Try to move them around to create threats slowly but surely. But yeah, I can tell you right now, the game probably ended in a draw just based on this position. Yeah, I would be absolutely amazed if this was not a draw, right? Oh, wow. He actually let you win it, huh? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it happens. But if your opponent knew what to do, there was no way you're going to win this game, even with the extra pawn. There was no way in the world. So let's just talk about this. If you want to get a draw, okay, well, let me ask the chat. What do you think? What should white's plan or strategy have been if white wanted to get a draw? They're obviously down a pawn. What should they do? What do you guys think? What should the strategy be? There's a very simple strategy for white. Anyone at all? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All the pawns on white squares. And you blockade. That's exactly right. So all white has to do, guys, is like h3, put their king here, put their pawn like this. They can play g4 if they want. They don't have to. It doesn't really matter. And you get some position like this. There is no way black is going to be able to do any. The only way would be if you let them like invade and cut you off and start losing pawns. But if you're smart about that, and if their king starts coming here, your king blocks them out, and it's going to be very, very difficult for black to win, right? In the game, it looked like white was not doing that. Yeah, see, they immediately kind of made a mistake. They put a pawn on the wrong color, right? You put it on the white square. Don't put it on the dark square. And then this is kind of the reason they lost is because black's king was able to get such a good position and invade into the white's camp. If you can prevent that, it's going to be a draw. This bishop is very passive. I would have tried to reroute the bishop, and so yeah, there's a lot of subtleties here, and it goes to show that their guidelines, it doesn't always happen. They don't always end in draws, but against a better player, it would have definitely ended in a draw. So that being said, if you can get your pawns connected and pass like this, yeah, you're going to have chances to win, and looks like you did a good job of that. I'm assuming you won this game, right? Yeah, nice. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Good question. And yeah, let me do. Let's do one or two more. All right, let's do one or two more. Let's get the wheel up here. $22. Did we already do 22? Yeah, I think we did. Yep, we did. All right, let's spin again. 28. We did not do 28. Shed. I'm not sure what I did wrong in the attack at the end of the game. Okay. Not sure what he did wrong at the attack in the end of the game. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. All right, so Shed is playing with black. All right, let's take a look. All right, very good. Developing the pieces. Okay, this is the two knights defense opening. I like it. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. It's the Vienna game. Never mind. Still fine. It's still fine. G6. Okay. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good setup, I think. Yeah, this is fine. Castle, very nice. And the question is about the end game, so I won't spend too long. Yeah, developing the pieces, fighting for the center. Everything is great. I'll put the eval bar on for you guys. Jumps the knight into d4. That's fine. Launches the pawn storm. Okay, that is... Yeah, the reason this is very dangerous, and I'm guessing you probably forgot about en passant, or maybe didn't know about en passant, because you probably... I mean, if they don't have en passant, this is a great move, right? But because en passant is a real move, now your position is a mess. Primarily because of this. Because before you played c5, the bishop was, out of the game, right? The pawn, I don't even mind that you lost the pawn. I don't even care about that. What I care about is now you have to really be careful about this. So, yeah, got to watch out for en passant, right? So, let's see. What should we do instead? I mean, probably just reroute your knight to these dark squares. Play knight d7, put it on e5 or c5. Your knight's going to be amazing. The bishop's going to start opening up, and you're going to have a really nice game. Yeah, knight. You can even bring the queen out if you want on f6 to neutralize this. But, yeah, you have a nice position. So that's the big mistake there. Oof, yeah, and then things are just falling apart here, I think, at this point. Yeah, white's doing a good job attacking. You're still attacking, though. Nice. Okay, trying to hold on. I would say when somebody... This is important. When somebody is pawn storming on your king, the primary goal, okay, is for them to trade off the pawns. Because if they trade off the pawns, then the rooks and the queen and bishops or whatever can get to your king easier, right? Imagine if this pawn is not here. Bam, there's a rook. Imagine if this pawn is not here. Then there's a rook, right? So you don't want that to happen. Okay, so one of the best ways to prevent that is blockades like this. Because pawns can't move if they're in a situation. They can't, literally, there's no move for this pawn. There's no move for this pawn. They can't move. That's what you want. You don't want them to be able to move and capture and open up the rooks. So I would have definitely played knight h5 here. Now, sometimes you have to watch out. If, for example, this bishop was sitting over here and it could attack you, but it's not. It's away from the action, right? This is a fantastic blockade, and all of a sudden, white's attack is now very slow, if at all. So that's a missed opportunity, okay? The problem with knight g8 is h5 captures. There's a rook. You're going to get checkmated. Right? Okay, and they did play h5, yeah. Yeah, so you're limited in what you can do. You try to take, but it's going to open everything up. Yeah, this is not what you want to deal with, right? Yeah, oof. So they have a forced checkmate if they see it. And they didn't checkmate you? Oh, wow. They didn't checkmate you yet. Okay, yeah, they had a checkmate there for quite a few moves. Well, let me just show you if you guys are wondering. Yeah, rook h8. Doesn't matter how you take it. This is checkmate. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, game goes on. So you do get to survive for a few more moves. Wow. And they actually gave you an opportunity to save the game here. That is fascinating. All right. So when you are defending in a position like this, okay, it's important to identify what is the major threat that your opponent has. In other words, how is your opponent going to win the game, right? What is the most obvious and direct way? So in this position, what is it? Well, they're going to checkmate you on the H file. And you have to identify how that is, right? Now, it's not this way. Oh, it's... You played this move. Okay. It's not this way because you just take it. You have enough pieces covered, right? It is actually the h7 square. The queen is going to h7, whether that's from a sacrifice here in checkmate or here. That's the checkmate, right? When you're defending, once you identify that specific thing, then you can potentially solve the problem. Okay? So going back to this position, it's your turn. You have to play something. How do you solve the problem? Now that you know, this is the threat. Queen, basically the queen going to h7. It's a little tricky, but you move your rook and give your king breathing room. Because now, let's say they go for this line and they check you. Guess what? It's not checkmate. You can run away. And you have places to go, right? So that's what you need to be thinking about, when you get attacked along the h file like that. Now, of course, the best solution is back in this position to play knight h5 and just be done with it. Now you don't have to worry about any rooks along the h file, right? So this is the best solution. But if you end up in this situation, that's what you want to thinking about. Okay. And so, yeah, you went here. Wow, they actually gave you a checkmate. That's amazing. That's amazing. And now they win the game. Wow. Okay, yeah, let's see what you actually had a checkmate here. Let's see what it was. Wow, this is very interesting. So you've got the queen, you've got the bishop, you've got the rook. Their king is very exposed because they've got all their major pieces over here. And there is a checkmate. I don't even see it myself. Let's see. Queen d3. Bishop takes c3. The bishop comes crashing in. Now the queen and the rook can work together. They're very powerful. Oh, queen d2. Queen d4. This is really, really interesting. This back and forth with the queen. You take the pawn. You go here and you go, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. You had a win there. Look at that. That's not easy to see, by the way. But maybe, if you would have noticed the bishop was involved, yeah, it's tricky because the first step is to force the king onto the dark square. Once you do that, the next step is trade the bishops. Once you do that, you have to do this dance where you do it just in the right way, where you can invade with the rook, whether that's going to be taking this with your queen with check or invading here and eventually getting, yeah, that's complicated. That is complicated. So I don't feel bad that you missed it. Okay. Can I say happy birthday to your friend? Sure. Happy birthday to your friend. All right. Let me spin. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let me spin the wheel one more time, and then I think I'm going to call it a night. My voice is actually going out for some reason. So let's do one more spin, guys, okay? $34. Let's see. Patrick Swayze. All right. Move 16. All right, this is going to be the last one for tonight, guys. We will do this again. So if you missed it this time, tune in next time, I guess. I'll do this from time to time. Okay, we've got a higher rated player here, 1700. And the question is on move 16. Okay, let's see. Move 16. What's going on? All right, so we have some development. Jumps the knight in. We get some trades. Nothing too crazy. Both knights going on the offensive. Oh, I like this move. Sacrificing a pawn to put the pressure on the opponent. Look at this. Knights are just jumping in. Very good. What was that? Was this the move? 16? I already forgot again. Yeah, 16. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're already lost. You got to save the knight. and they attack here. That wasn't the best move though for white. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what the question is. It's a very strange position, I will say. I'm not exactly totally sure I'm understanding what's going on. Apparently white is winning. Let's see why. Knight a4 is the move. What is going on? So white is attacking the pawn. If you try to let's just say defend the pawn, now they're chasing this knight. Then they're going here. Now you have to worry about knight g5. So let's say you try to bring your queen. Then they're playing e5. Then they're going back. Yeah, this is a very strange position. I mean, it's something about like the pieces are just kind of awkward, I guess, is what it is. Now, how do you prevent that? Well, you had a nice position, and then I don't know. This was the mistake. Apparently, the engine says you have to play knight e4, which seems really weird. If you take this way, e4, you're having a problem of your knights. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A good question, I guess. I don't really have an answer for you. I'm trying to think. Very weird game, to be honest with you. Yeah. This is one of those ones where I'm not really even sure what to tell you. Kind of a tough position. You ended up getting a fork, and we end up with actually a winning endgame. Huh. Interesting position. So knight, bishop, knight, bishop. We've got the rook against the knight and the two pawns. So did you end up winning this? Oh, this is a speed get chess. I see that. Okay. Lost on time. Yeah, sorry. I don't have a lot to say about that one, unfortunately. All right, guys. I am going to call it a night. Thank you guys for being here. By the way, let me know. Did you like the wheel? Was this a good idea, bad idea? You want to see it again or not? What do you think? Let me know. Actually, let me do a quick poll before I end. Really quick poll. Did you like the wheel? Yes or no? Let's see what the majority says. Wow, 95% liked the wheel. Whoa. Okay. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. All right. I mean, I did put it in the thumbnail and title, so maybe that's why. But I have to delete the rows. Yeah, I could delete the rows eventually. Or just respin. I'm highlighting them as I do it, so I'm not repeating. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we'll do it again sometime. Maybe this will be like, in between games every so often. I'll just do it. I will be probably using new I'm going to be making people rejoin because I don't want it to get stale with people who don't watch anymore, their names being on there and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to refresh it each time. All right. Cool. Thank you guys for voting. All right. I'll see everybody next time. Don't forget, Just Vibes Academy is open. Go check it out. Seriously, right now. Go click the link. Check it out. I want to see you guys inside. Okay? All right. Take it easy.